Challenge 1 is over, and the first winners are chosen.
It is going to be Alejandro Sanchez who is going to take the race win here in the first of the spring events.
Are you now ready for Challenge 2? Mark the 20th of April. Pro drivers with big teams are going head-to-head in multiple races of non-stop excitement and speed.
In the battle for the final podium spot.
The reward, 3 more tickets for a track day in Escari.
Oh, that is great racing for about 5 corners there.
Like in Challenge 1, watch the whole race live on Twitch and YouTube. So join us and miss nothing. Spring Events 2024, powered by Racing Unleashed.
Good afternoon, good evening, welcome to Racing Unleashed. I'm your host Matthew Duffin, bringing you all the action from today's very special second event on the road to Escari, the final event as well on the road to Escari. It is the All-Star event and it is time to go racing here, where we see some of the best esports drivers across some of the best esports teams take to the tracks on 3 fantastic iconic circuits, one of which owned by our fantastic CFO Francisco Fernandez. It's going to be a great day of racing and a great day of action here in the All-Star event, all for that elusive prize of 3 drivers, the top 3 drivers, getting that ticket to go to a track day at Ascari next week on the 26th of April. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic to see which drivers will take that top step and which drivers will be at the event with Alejandro Sanchez and Enrique Marinon and the drivers that took the top 3 places in the last event. Obviously, we have the third final spring event coming up in May. Different prize at the end of this one. This is the final and the end to road to Ascari. What a day it is going to be. 8 of the best esports drivers out there then, with some fantastic esports teams such as Williams Esports, Veloce as well, just to name a few that will be out on this circuit or circuits later on in the afternoon. It's going to be fantastic. And as well, we can speak with a colleague of ours who is in the Zurich Lounge, which will be Izzy Browning later in the programme. Also, it's going to be a great day of action. They're all in the Zurich Airport Lounge. They will all be in their correct esports team liveries for today's afternoon action as well, in which is going to be a fantastic opportunity for these drivers in the Zurich Lounge. If you are in Zurich, make sure you go to the circle at Zurich Airport and go and check out all the action that is happening this afternoon and this evening. It's going to be a fantastic display. If you're not in Zurich, well, stick around. It's going to be a great show that we have coming up. In the programme, it's going to be fantastic build-up, fantastic racing, hopefully, as well as some great clips that we'll be able to show you throughout the event. And obviously, we look then forward to tomorrow, where we go to the iRacing event here at Racing Unleashed. So then, as we said, 8 drivers. Jimmy Broadbent not able to take part in today's event. He is unwell, so we wish him a speedy recovery and hope he gets back to full fitness soon. But there will be 3 tracks to Red Bull Ring, Silverstone and Ascari race circuit, and 8 esports drivers all vying for a fantastic spot in that top 3. There will be 2 races in the Formula 1 car that we have on display, and then it will be a final race in the Formula 3 car we saw a few weeks ago. The Formula 1 car developed by VRC, the Alpha 2023 car. And this is the format and the qualification period at the Red Bull Ring. It'll be a 10-minute qualifying in that Formula Alpha 2023 F1 car around there. It'll then be a 20-minute race for them drivers from the grid order in race 1. Race 2 will be a reverse grid of race 1 for a 20-minute race around the iconic Silverstone circuit. And race 3 will be the grid from race 2's finishing positions for a half-an-hour race, 30 minutes, in an F3 car around Escari. You see there on screen the points as follows: 15 all the way down to 3. There is no 9th driver, sadly, so 15 down to 3. And the drivers with the top 3 drivers with the most points will get that track day to Escari, as well as fantastic opportunity to see what they could do in the real cars next week. If it is tied on points, however, it will go back through the race results. So far, race wins, second places, third places, and so on and so forth until a result is determined. Race control are in the Zurich Airport Lounge as well, so they will be there monitoring all 3 races and the qualifying session, making everything will be above board as always. So them guys, once again, have the hardest job of the weekend. And this is going to be fantastic and fascinating to see who will be able to do what across the board. But yeah, Red Bull Ring, what an iconic circuit to start the procedure, to start the qualifying, get everything ready to go before we head to Silverstone. Fantastic on British soil, the home of British motorsport, a great track, and then our very own Ascari circuit that we have for you. And the points again ranging down from 15 points for the race win all the way down to 3 for P8. So points for every driver on track today, but who is going to be able to capitalise on these points that is going to be the biggest question of them all. So like we said, we do have 8 drivers in our Zurich Airport Lounge at the circle. It's going to be a fantastic day of racing here. We can, though, now speak to Izzy Browning, who is at the Zurich Airport Racing Lounge. Izzy, good afternoon. How is it all over there?
Hello, Matthew. Good to see you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our racing lounge in Zurich. I have to say, we've got quite the crowd that's come out tonight to see these All-Stars go head-to-head. We're just getting ready for the qualifying session, and the atmosphere is definitely beginning to build. I will say, one thing I did spot earlier during the practice session is that these drivers have been going around to the other drivers and looking at the kind of times that they've been setting. So they're kind of quietly keeping their eye on the competition, seeing who might be their main rivals out today. As I said, the qualifying session is just about to get underway. All of the drivers just getting into the sims. As I can see now, all the drivers are just getting into place. We're going to get that underway very, very soon. So, Matthew, that's what the atmosphere is like here in Zurich. Throughout the show, I'll be bringing you interviews with the drivers, bringing you closer to that action. But the level of competition here today is going to be very, very high. So really, really looking forward to this. Back to you to get this underway.
Thank you very much, Izzy. We will be getting underway with that qualifying process in just a few moments' time, and the great atmosphere at the airport lounge seems to be building. And the one thing that Izzy mentioned there, the drivers all keeping a very fine eye on what everybody else is doing, and this is why they are the best. They are making sure they know where drivers are gaining and losing time over themselves, and this is where they're going to be absolutely combing over everything with the finest of combs imaginable to make sure that the whole day for these drivers is worth it because these guys are the best of the best and they're wanting to make sure they put their very best on display. First, so as we can take a look at the Red Bull Ring then, the first of the tracks for the qualifiers. So the 2.6 mile circuit, 4.3 kilometers, opened in 1969. Red Bull Ring used to be known as the A1 Ring, 3 sectors and a very, very quick circuit, a short lap time around this track and a very, very great iconic racetrack, especially for those who are part of the Red Bull setup. One of our drivers today is one of them. As you can see in our very own Pagani coming down the start straight towards turn 1, the Niki Lauda curve. They come flat out down towards this corner. You start to climb back uphill as you hit the brakes at the 100-meter zone and try and take as much curve as you can. Watch the exit. That sausage curb can catch you out quite easily. You go through turn 2, which is this little bend here. Nothing really of a corner. You are flat out all the way up the hill. A chance maybe in the race to see some push to passes in operation. We didn't see them last time out. We get to see them today. In towards turn 3, turn 2, depending on who you are and what you want to call it. Back downhill you come now then. This is another part of the circuit. If you can get a good run out of that last corner in towards this swooping right-hand bend downhill again, hard to pick up the braking zone. Make sure you don't outbrake yourself. Easy to go around the outside and try and gain momentum. We've seen that done a few times in the Formula One. Can we see it done today before you come into this middle sector where it all changes a little bit? Less overtaking opportunities, but a great chance to set you up for the final part of the track. Use as much curb on the exit as possible before you come into the left-right section now in this middle sector before hitting that final area of the racetrack. Again, using as much runoff. If you get a good run through there, can you make to make a dive up the inside into that penultimate corner, crossing the pitch entry line, hitting the apex, not too wide here. Track limits will be watched very carefully, I imagine, by race control. And through the final corner, big wiggle from our Pagani driver there as they come across the finish line then, and that is a lap of the Red Bull Ring and the start of our first circuit here today, as the drivers then will be getting ready to go out in qualifying, a 10-minute qualifying session for each driver to make sure they do their very best. And there you see the drivers who are on track today. We do have Colin Spork, Sebastian Job, that'll be Gregor Schill from Dennis. Just want to make sure I get this one right. Dennis Schoeniger from René Butler. That then is Dara McCormack with Luke Whitehead and Marco Pejic in the 8th position, it says there, but obviously qualifying. They will be going out from their pit boxes and making the best of the opening laps that they have available to them. Obviously, the track is going to ramp up. The track is going to get quicker as the session goes on, and the drivers are going to look forward to being at this session. As you see, it is looking like the sun is setting over the Red Bull Ring to an interesting time of day on this track at the moment. Rene, you can do it. His comments in the chat. Can't wait for some racing today as well. And this is going to be an absolutely fantastic day of racing. We're seeing a lot of action out there at the moment then. So great clips of our Red Bull Ring circuit. And this is the car they have to take on today. It is the Formula Alpha 2023 Racing Unleashed car that was made by VRC, especially for us here at Racing Unleashed, for this championship. A car that, if you watch Jimmy Broadbent's video a few months back, you need a manual to drive. So a very technical car indeed. Inspired by modern Formula One cars. Absolutely beautiful piece of equipment that we get our hands on this afternoon. There in the cockpit, the drivers will be as they prepare to take on this opportunity for the road to Ascari. What a day this could be for 3 of the drivers. Absolutely gorgeous machine that we will be taking on to the Red Bull Ring track in a few moments' time. Great shots as well. Absolutely beautiful shots of the car we can see here. Just capturing what is going to be such an intense day. And these shots absolutely speak 1,000 words then, because they are going to be gearing up and absolutely taking this track and tearing it up around the Red Bull Ring and Silverstone. They'll be using that car before jumping into the Formula 3 car for the Ascari circuit. This is going to be fantastic. Red Bull Ring, though, first coming up with a 10-minute qualifying session. And this is going to be very interesting to see what will be happening throughout the day, as the drivers are going to get ready for this 10-minute session. No knockout, it is the normal qualifying session. I know here at Racing Unleashed we like to do qualifying a little differently, but it is a traditional qualifying format for today's event, and it is going to be an absolute fantastic race, as there you see some of our competitors already coming out of the pit lane and already getting out onto that Red Bull Ring circuit, trying to take to the action of the track. And this is going to be fantastic to see what they can do. And again, for these esports drivers, obviously race in simulators at their home or at wherever they race at, the Williams esports facilities or wherever they may take part in their events, a chance to get a hold of these Racing Unleashed simulators for the very first time, apart from a bit of practice earlier today. And what are they going to do in this cockpit? There you see great shots from our camera crew, as here is René Boutler then ready to come into that middle sector of the circuit. The driver from Overtake, who is representing them today out on the circuit, and this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for him to show what he can do with the likes of drivers from the Williams esports, the Veloce esports team, as well as the Oracle Red Bull esports team as well. So many a driver out there, and you can already see the professionalism in the drivers out there today, just making sure they give each other enough space and all queuing up at the very end of the circuit. But here is René Boutler then coming down the start line to start his first flying lap of the session. And this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for him. A gorgeous looking livery, the white with green and orange, absolutely beautiful as we come through. Gives you sort of Force India vibes from the old days of Formula 1 as he comes back up the hill then towards turn 2. René Boutler looking to use the slipstream of the car in front, locks up a little bit coming into that second corner, so interesting to see, a bit wiggly on the exit as well on the rear end, manages to keep hold of it though. She's just going to lose a little time on this opening lap with 7 minutes 43 left on the clock. This is all overhead, and you saw a lock up from the driver in front as well, so drivers still possibly getting used to the simulators and the actual feel of these cars. And this is going to be fantastic as well. Great support for René and the Overtake GG car all out on the circuit. Just looking in the comments here, absolutely great to see some race fans as well in there as they all come through into the final set 10. René Boutler at the moment. It is Sebastian Job who's currently the quickest out there with a 1:06.4, currently 9/10 quicker than Dara McCormack. They come across the line, and what does René Boutler do then? Goes into P5, drops down to P6. Here is Sebastian Job, currently the fastest man on the circuit from the Oracle Red Bull esports team. It's going to be fantastic to see what he can do. Currently pole position, only by 33 thousandths of a second from Dennis. Dennis driving for the Williams esports team, so two of our Formula 1 esports teams going at it head-to-head here. This is going to be an absolute belter of a race. There you see from our camera crew in the Zurich Airport Lounge, driving a fantastic job at the moment. Sebastian Job coming through into the final corner, dips downhill and tries to come away from him, but it's perfectly done through that final corner. Is he going to improve as he comes across the line? It is a 1:07.2, so no improvement that time around for Sebastian Job. He's going to have to go again at the moment. And he'll, I'm sure, try and make the best of one more flying lap. Up the hill he climbs once again, just as the corner kind of falls away from you mid-corner. It dips down. Very nicely done. Not the cleanest of exits there for Sebastian, as he tumbles down the hill once again then to try and pick up as much speed and momentum as he can. No push to pass, remember, used in this qualifying session. There'll be 8 usages of it. For regular viewers of last season's Racing Unleashed Championship, it'll be the same as that. 8 usages for 8 seconds in the race, but at the minute none in this session. And it is Marco Page, who has gone at P2 by 24 thousandths of a second as Sebastian Job just dropped a wheel into the gravel trap there. That's going to ruin his lap time this time round. It wasn't the cleanest of laps. We saw him make a few mistakes on exits of corners. Now here is Marco Page then coming through into the final sector. There he is in the blue simulator at the moment. No, that's not him. This is someone coming across the start line. I didn't see anybody go any quicker there. Here comes Marco then, down out the final corner, coming towards the line now, drives for Veloce Esports. Is he going to improve on that P2? Comes to the line, and at the moment, no improvement for him. It is still, in fact, if anything, now he's been demoted down to P3 as Dennis Schoeninger has come up into second place. 8 thousandths of a second separating the top two at the moment. Absolutely nothing separating them. And here is Dennis, Williams Esports driver, climbing up the hill. Oh, and messes up the second corner. Just went a little deeper than he liked. You just saw the front right locking up just a tad. So losing a couple of hundredths maybe there, if not a tenth or two. Back downhill he comes. He's now got to nail this lap. He's within touching distance of pole position. He is so close that this is going to be fantastic to see. Into that middle sector, left, using all the curb, uses the runoff. Not as much as you possibly normally see drivers, just clipping the apex there, all over the curb through the right-hander. And again, now uses a lot of the left-hand side exit curb. Sticks as far left as he can, uses all of that left-hand side curb over the right. Not as much to the left, you don't want to take track limits. Watch the sausage curb on the inside of the final corner. Great run out. What is this from Dennis Schoeninger here? Is it going to be enough for pole position? It is not at the moment, so still 8 thousandths of a second separating Dennis from Sebastian in this race so far. So here's Luke Whitehead then for Veloce as well, Veloce Esports. At the moment, just noticing that Alpine in the chat, the Alpine Esports driver of Colin Spork, as well as him racing for another esports team, Race Clutch, I do believe. P6 at the moment for Colin, but we're on board with Luke Whitehead so far. The man who, can we just say, recently, when Assetto Corsa Competizione announced its Nordschleife pack, they did a 24-hour Nordschleife race. He finished third place and did the whole race on his own. He was a solo driver and it came third place in that race. So what a drive from Luke Whitehead that day. Can he replicate that performance? He's not going to be awake for 24 hours now. He's just got to do the job in 3 short races. Little wiggle out the penultimate corner. Very wide through the final, onto the grass and round the rear end goes. That's going to ruin this lap and the next lap. He's lost all momentum as we come into the end of this session. 2 minutes left of it. And that is a shame for Luke Whitehead. He's going to have to abort this lap and go again next time around. He was very wide out the final corner. Here is Dara McCormack then. Driver for Williams Esports. Into the middle sector. Currently down in P4 and is 9/10 of a second off the back of Sebastian Job so far. So this is going to be fantastic to see what he can do in this race. As he comes now towards the penultimate corner on the circuit. Not too wide, you hear him just lifting through the final corner again. And it comes to the line. Any improvement on his 9/10 of a second? Massive improvement, because although Sebastian Job has improved, Dara McCormack moves up to P2, 15 thousandths of a second off of the pole time at the moment. So a great lap there from Dara. Here is Page once again, coming up towards turn 2. And this could be huge for him now, currently down in P4. 47 thousandths of a second off of pole position. The top 5 separated by less than a tenth of a second. It is so close between them all. So here comes Page once again, rounds turn 4. Into that middle sector, that crucial middle sector. This is where a lot of time can be won and lost. Using a lot of that curb on the exit. Nicely done, just down a gear or 2 there for Page. Back on the throttle. He sees in 7th, approaching that penultimate corner, drops it, goes up to 8th. Only down 2 gears, into 6th, down to 4th once again. through the final corner. Short shifting back up into fifth. It's a great run through this last half of the lap. Is there going to be any improvement as he comes to the line? No, stays P4th. 106.8 at the minute there for Page, so not to be for him. Here's Dara McCormack once again, currently in that P2 position. Colin Sport P7, Rennie Butler P8. Gregor Schill P5, Luke Whitehead P6 at the moment as well. Great to see so many race fans in the chat today, all looking forward to this one. On board with Dara McCormack then. You just hear how patient he is to pick up the throttle coming through these sweeping corners. Flat out through this one. Let's listen to his throttle input through the final two. And you hear him there, just so patient to get back on the power, leaving it in high revs as he jumps down a gear. Dara McCormack comes to the line and improves once again. He goes now within 6,000ths of a second of Sebastian Job. So with 40 seconds left, he's going to get one flying lap left in this qualifying session. And I believe he has already bailed. And that is Gregor Schill, who will not get another chance to get a lap in. He has spun before the finish line. He will be P5, gets under a second. Payich as well has slowed down, and traffic congestion causing a driver to come through the middle. That is possibly his lap ruined as well. And with one lap left to go, the drivers just catching each other out on their in-lap. So fantastic to see. And a great pole position then for Sebastian Job in this first one. So a great start to the day for Sebastian Job. He will take pole position in this first race. 6,000ths of a second from Dara McCormack. What a qualifying lap time that was. And I'm sure the racing being that close is going to be fantastic and on the edge once again. And I believe we can hear from Izzy with a driver interview very shortly as they get ready for the race. Coming up momentarily then. And here is Izzy now, who can bring us the chat with Sebastian Job.
We can indeed. I am with our pole sister, Sebastian Job. Sebastian, what an amazing way to start the day. That must feel good.
Yeah, I'm used to these like one-shot qualies, so this was quite chilled out. We had 10 minutes, I could do quite a few laps. Set a reasonable banker, nothing special. And then a couple laps later, I went a few tenths quicker, but it was still a few mistakes. I was up on it on one of the laps by a decent amount. It's like over 2 tenths off what I did in practice, so I'm not thrilled with it, but it certainly wasn't bad under pressure, so I'm reasonably happy, and it can't be a better start.
And you said a couple of mistakes, but obviously you've had a couple of laps now under pressure. You're going to go into the race shortly, so can we convert the pole to a win?
I think it will all depend on the start, to be honest. And I've not practiced them much, only a little bit. And I have no idea what other people are doing with the starts, so we'll have to see. But if I get a good start, I've got a good chance, I think.
And the level of competition here is quite high today. You probably know some of the other fellow drivers, so is there anyone that you've got your eye on?
I think all of them, to be honest. I've raced against quite a few of them over on other games, so yeah, no one's a slow driver here. It's going to be very competitive, and I don't like to focus on individuals.
All right, well, we wish you best of luck. You have got the pole position, so starting in the best position for the race. Wish you best of luck for race 1. And that race 1 will be coming up shortly, so we'll hand back to Matthew.
Thank you very much, Izzy. So Sebastian Job there, P1 in the race. He's not looking at individuals, he's looking at everybody in terms of this race. You heard it from him. He has not practiced the race starts much, so let's see what he can do from the Oracle Red Bull Racing esports team. Then he is also a sim test driver, I believe, for the Red Bull Racing, if my notes are correct here. The Porsche Tiger champion of 2020 and 2024, the Esports Carrera Cup GB 2021, 2023 and 2024 champion. So he's got a few championships under his his name, also a race driver in the SLR1 Championship as well. So he is a guy who's got a lot of experience, and I'm sure will be fine from getting away from P1. With the race coming up momentarily, then it is a chance for Sebastian to take them 15 points and already cement his place at top of the championship if he can win it and really be in a good position race 2-wise for the reverse grid to maybe pick up a few more points and have one hand on that golden ticket to the Ascari track day, which will be next week, next Thursday, I do believe, the 26th of April is the Escari track day for the 6 drivers, the 3 that won in the Road to Ascari Race 1 and the 3 that will be top 3 today. So then, the interesting thing to see now is 8 drivers all within a second of each other. A couple of drivers at the front within a tenth in a 20-minute race around the Red Bull Ring. The interesting thing is obviously the slipstream, the tactics of the drivers is all going to come into play as well as that push-to-pass system. We saw back last season, if you're a Racing Unleashed fan, the push-to-pass system came into effect fantastically at circuits like the Red Bull Ring, where we saw a lot of overtaking happening and a lot of drivers use it at different parts of the circuit. So it's all going to be about whether drivers use it to defend or overtake going into this race. They'll have 8 usages of this. This is not 8 individual laps. They can use multiple on one lap if they choose to. They have 8 usages for 8 seconds. After that, they have nothing. If you go back to last season, we saw Michael Schmiedel like to use the push to pass very early as opposed to his competitors who saved it to the end. Will this be tactics that these esports drivers will use? And this is going to be the interesting thing about this. These guys may work with similar things in their esports events throughout the series, so they might have different tactics up their sleeve. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic to see what strategies these drivers will have with them going into this race, as they're all going to prepare for that first race of the day. I believe that'll be coming up very, very shortly then. And this is going to be an absolute thriller of a race. We are just awaiting the grid to be set, and then we'll be underway with everything momentarily. So Sebastian Job on the pole at the moment, and he's the man who's got the job to do to get away into turn 1. Alongside Dara McCormack, it was, I believe, in second place at the very end of that session. Just looking at the chat here, overtake will win easily, says Star Gamer. So very good, very interesting to see there. Rennie turning into Prime Verstappen. Well, we'll see what happens in the race. Enjoy the race night. Looking at across both chats here. Go Rennie, go overtake. Should be good. Looking forward to this, says a few drivers in the chat as well. Never a bad day when racing's on. And here is some of the shots that we are seeing from our racing lounge in the Zurich Airport circuit. Great to see a lot of these drivers, a lot of these fans, family, friends, youngsters as well, maybe thinking of a spot in a simulator at Racing Unleashed very, very soon. Great to see everybody packed out there in what is going to be an absolutely fantastic day of racing for all these drivers and for everybody involved. It's great. So if you are in that Zurich Airport area around the circle, get involved, get down there, grab a drink, grab a bite to eat, and come and watch some great racing. The broadcast, I assume, will be live in the lounge as well, so you won't miss any of the full broadcast, and you get to see each of these esports drivers take on this challenge and look forward to this race. As it looks like now, from what I'm seeing in front of me, the grid is set. There is one of the drivers sat in his cockpit. He is ready to go. And this is going to be fantastic. Look at the determination of some of these faces. They are in the zone, fully focused on what they have to do, and they are absolutely thriving on the task in front of them. And they are all, you just see the eagerness in their eyes. You see the eagerness in their face to get going, get underway. There is the poleman himself. I believe we can see a few familiar faces in the background here in the lounge today. I believe we can see people like Ciro Zamba and Yannick Pletcher. I saw Sebastian Hirsch is also there, so great to see some of the Racing Unleashed drivers come down and check out here. As Zach Sweeney saying that Sport Channeling is in a Formula Sim Racing 2021, won the championship. He'll smash it today. So let's see what Spork can do. That is Gregor Spork, who is talking about won the championship in 2022, the Formula Sim Racing Championship. He is part of the Alpine Esports driver team, racing team. He is the driver as they are on the grid. for the start of this race. Who's going to be the race winner then of race 1 here at Racing Unleashed All-Star event? It is all about to kick off then at the Red Bull Ring, and it is the Red Bull Esports driver on pole, on home soil for the team. What can they do? From the front row of the grid, the revs start to rise now. The red lights come on, and for the first time today, we are green and go here at the Red Bull Ring, and it is a great start from pole position for Sebastian Job already. Side by side though is Dara McCormack looking up the inside, and Job gets tapped in the rear. Already at turn 1 collects another driver, and that is not the start that Sebastian Job would have been hoping for. Dara McCormack leads this race, and it is the Veloci Esports team who is second and third, I believe, with Marco Pajic. And that is then Luke Whitehead, P3 and P2. Overtake have come from the back of the grid. That is Rene Butler then, coming from the back of the grid, already up in top mid-pack and going side by side in this race. It is a great start already, unless you are the pole sitter who has got spun around. I believe that was Gregor Schill as well, who was spun around in the as Job was losing control of the car. But it is Dara McCormack who leads this way from Marco Pajic. Then it is that of Dennis Schoeniger then. Currently P3 and on the podium, Luke Whitehead down in P4, Rene Butler P5, Colin Spork is in 6th place. Then it is Sebastian Job and Gregor Schill, the 8 drivers, as they come through to complete the first lap here of this 20-minute race, 18 laps in total. They start lap 2 and already the gaps have started to pile out. Don't forget, now is where they get their 8 usages of push to pass. No DRS. And it'll last for 8 seconds as they come up then towards turn 3. Dennis Schoeniger so far on the back of Mario Pajic. In this one, this is going to be fantastic. See this battle develop with Dara McCormack out in the lead of this race. This is a battle down for Colin Spork on the back of Rene Butler then. P5 and 6 so far, and Colin Spork just getting a little closer. The Alpine Esports driver then through turn 3, still on the back of Rene Butler. Lap 2 of 18. And a dramatic start to the race already, and that is a driver off. Who is that? That is Luke Whitehead, who's made a mistake in the middle sector. He's lost 2 positions here. Sebastian Job will be wanting to get onto the back of him. He's only 2 seconds behind, so he's got to use his outright pace now. Luke Whitehead on the back of Colin Spork, so gone from offense to defense. There's a little bit now for Colin Spork as he gets a bad run out the final corner. Dara McCormack, fastest lap of the race on lap 2. We start the 3rd lap, and here comes Whitehead having a look at turn 1, and it was only a look, goes back behind and carries on his way. Luke Whitehead from the Veloci Esports team, watching his teammate of Marco Pajic pull up the road after that mistake. A lock up there from Rene Butler in the overtake car. Now running in P4, and this is looking back from Colin Spork. Look at the slipstream take effect, maybe even a bit of push to pass from Luke Whitehead up the inside. Downhill they come. Job done, no, he's locked a wheel, and that'll allow Colin Spork back through on the inside line. Can he keep it there? No, he can't. Has to tuck back in. So Luke Whitehead just making a few mistakes early on in this race at the Red Bull Ring, and now they've got Sebastian Job on the back of him. What was a trio is now a quartet. And all 4 of these drivers are so far trying to hunt down Rene Butler, who is currently the cork in the road at the moment. Through the final corner to start lap 4 of 18, a very, very quick lap. Here is Sebastian Job, then the pole sitter. Was around at turn 1, he's already on the back of the pack here. This could allow Gregor Schill to get on the back of this train as well. Oh, drops her here, well held, Sebastian. Too happy on the loud pedal there, coming through turn 1. Now Luke McCormack can have a look as well into the outside of turn 2, side by side with Colin Spork. A lock up again from Rene Butler in the overtake car just ahead as Luke Whitehead goes around the outside. Great move from Luke there. And he back up into P5. But Colin Spork's not done, neither is Sebastian Job, who's going to try and go around the outside. Whitehead just struggling, locks the wheel again. Sebastian Job's right around the outside of Colin Spork. That is a great move from Sebastian, who moves up into P6. Absolutely fantastic to see for him there. Coming back with a bang at the moment. And now on the back of Luke Whitehead, who is trying to gain on Rene Butler. Down into the final corner, Colin Sport comes. Has he used any push to pass? That'll be the big question. He's already dropped off the back a little bit. Luke Whitehead on the back of René Butler here, so he's got to try and get past again. Will he look to the outside of the corner? Sebastian Job is really hot on Luke Whitehead's heels. He's pulled out to look at the inside line. They're nearly 3 abreast. They pretty much are 3 abreast. A lock up from Sebastian Job there, but he gets 2 in 1. Has René Butler come back at him? Yes, he has. He's just got a little deep as the Red Bull driver. But what racing already here at the Red Bull Ring. Now Job's going to try around the outside again like he did a lap ago. Lock up from René Butler. And now Sebastian Job can get it done around the outside. He'll have the inside line for the next corner, the left-hand bend. And he gets the move done now. Whitehead fancies a chance to René Butler. They just tap wheels a little bit. And René Butler there has lost out 2 places in as many corners. But Sebastian Job is a man determined to win around the Red Bull Ring. He's got a lot of work to do now. Colin Spork having a look at the back of the overtake car. He can't find a way through. There is Gregor Schill in the background, trying to make up as much momentum as he possibly can. What a fantastic race this is turning out to be. 8 drivers, but already great to see from a lot of these young lads out there on the track today. Colin Spork now trying to attack the back of René Butler. Dara McCormack still your race leader by 1.4 seconds. It is Marco Pajic, P2. Fastest lap going the way of McCormack as well, but now you wonder how long it'll take for Sebastian Job to get on the back of Dennis Schoeniger then in P3. What a great battle that was from Sebastian Job and Luke Whitehead with René Butler. This is on the back of Dennis in P3. He's within that slipstream then of Marco Pajic, so far in position 2. And this is going to be fantastic racing. See if he can use that bit of push to pass to get a little bit closer, you feel. Gregor Schill's on the back of this battle for 6th, 7th and 8th. We're currently on board with Colin Spork. That is René Butler, who's already gone defensive in the overtake car. Comes back across, breaking that slipstream early on the start straight. Oh, a bit too much of the sausage curve, and around goes Colin Spork. So Gregor Schill will get an easy overtake done there. And just too much on the inside sausage curb. Spork took, and around it went, unsettled the car. Now for Dennis in the Williams Esports car. Could he make this a Williams Esports 1-2, currently separated by Marco Pajic in the Veloce Esports, with the Oracle Red Bull Esports car currently in P4, 6 seconds off the back of the top 3. He's got to try and hunt that gap down if he can. This then a replay of Spork spin. He just had that tank slapper, bounced off the sausage curb, it unsettled the car, and around it went. As McCormack does yet another fastest lap of the race, which is taken away now by Sebastian Job. So he's already brought that gap down a little bit. He's a man determined, and now we can see Gregor Schill on the back of René Butler then. This for P5th and 6th on track. Lap 8 of 18 around this fantastic Red Bull Ring circuit, a very short circuit. Here is Gregor Schill, part of the BS competition esports team, the Zebras, as they like to be called. But your race leader, Dara McCormack, 1.6 seconds in control of this race. He's not put a foot wrong at the moment. There you see him in the simulator. Smooth as he likes on the wheel. It's been fantastic to see from Dara in this race so far. He's just controlled it after that turn 1 overtake. René Butler here then for the overtake team, ahead of Gregor Schill, 6th and 7th place. This is on circuit, and Gregor will want to get this overtake done. Lovely livery. I do have to say, I do quite enjoy the overtake livery there. This is on board René Butler then. You see behind, coming up the hill towards turn 2. Look at the car behind Schill. trying to gain and gain and gain, and up the inside, he fancies a move. Did they just tap wheels there a little bit? A bit of a lock-up from René Butler as he tries to tuck underneath, and a great move. Gregor Schill up into 6th place. It was a fantastic overtake, and that is absolutely brilliant from Gregor Schill there. Pulled out late, left it till the last minute, and well done indeed. Dennis Schoeniger then here, currently P3, looking to get on the back of Pajic, a little closer, willing to now try and put him under some pressure. And this is turning out to be a fantastic race. Colin spoke down in 8th place. He's a little off the back wiggle there for Dennis as he came through turn 1. In the Williams Esports car, up the hill they come. Had a lock up from Dara McCormack out front. They've just gained on Dara a little bit. See, there's Dara and Marco, then Dennis. They come back downhill at 10 of 18, so we're already over half distance, and little lock up there from Marco Pajic once again. On your screen now, you're with Dennis Schoeniger. Comes through the left-hand bend, drops downhill once more. He's really starting to just apply a little bit of pressure to Pajic and put him under some pressure maybe. This is where he needs to be. This is exactly where he wants him to be as well, especially if he's got some push to pass left to use late in this race. We're about to start lap 11. Sebastian Job's got the gap down to 4.4 seconds from that podium spot. There you see him in the background, but it's Williams Esports from Veloce, from Williams Esports. Your top 3. Dara McCormack, Marco Pajic and Dennis Schoeniger, your top 3 drivers. As we see Jimmy Broadbent there, good luck to everybody. Sorry I couldn't be there. We hope you get well, Jimmy. And back in the sim as Dennis locks up nearly into the back of Pajic there into turn 2. And that nearly went horribly wrong for the pair of them, but manages to avoid the back of the Veloce Esports car. He's not lost a lot of time, but what this will do is just bring Sebastian Job back into play. And this will really give Sebastian a chance at the end of this race. You wonder how much push to pass Sebastian has left in the car. 8 usages, 8 seconds per race, and them usages can be used multiple times within a lap. So far, so good for the drivers out there on circuit at the moment. And it is Dara McCormack who is so far leading the way in this race. Starts lap 12 of it from Pajic, from Dennis Schoeniger, who gap has opened up between 2nd and 3rd. You see Sebastian Job in the background. That gap ebbing and flowing between 4 and 3 seconds. Still got the fastest lap of the race, and don't forget it's the top 3 drivers with the most points at the end of today that will win that fantastic track day experience at Ascari next week in what is our final Road to Ascari event of the year. Cormac's managed to extend his gap out front a little more from Pajic, so not under any pressure, and a big lock up there from Dennis. Is he just starting to struggle as this race goes on? Well, this could allow Sebastian to really try and get in here. As we see the drone footage on the back of Dara, brilliant to see. And just seeing that Colin Spork is now within a couple of seconds of René Butler then, for 7th and 8th. So we'll see if there is a fight developing there late on in the race. But great drone shots here at the Red Bull Ring. There's Dara McCormack from Mario Pajic, Dennis Schoeniger P3. That is your top 3 and podium 3 at the moment in this race. Sebastian Job P4, big wiggle for Dennis out of turn 1. Is he just starting to lose life in his tyres? Is he just starting to overdrive the car? Sebastian Job will see him getting a little closer, and this is going to interest him. And I think Dara's made a little mistake. That gap came down momentarily there. That looks a little closer than what it was the lap or 2 ago. So 4, Dennis Schoeniger. He's just maybe starting to put a bit much pressure, too much pressure on himself to get P2. Points mean prizes at the end of today, and this is what he needs. He needs to bag the points early doors. He'd be better off keeping that P3 at this stage of the race with only a handful of laps to go. Pushing for P2 and losing out. So no real battles on circuit at the moment, but this man, Sebastian Job, has the fastest lap of the race. Remember, he was around at turn 1, was down to last place after turn 1 at the very start of this race. And there he is on your screens at the moment. Sebastian Job trying to put back in that hard work of the race start. He got off the line reasonably well, went side by side with Dara McCormack. I believe it was the car behind him who collected the rear. So race control will take a look at this as well for the final classifications. He's just getting closer, but he's running out of time. Lap 14 of 18 left in this race. Running out of time to get on the back of the Williams Esports car in front, the Oracle Red Bull Racing Esports car on its home circuit. Coming through the middle sector, using as much curb as he can. I imagine Sebastian is on the edge, trying to make sure he can leave nothing out there. He's got to be happy with his performance, pace-wise. For that first lap incident, his pace has looked phenomenal. There's now, with under 2 seconds to Dennis, as we enter lap 15 of 18, then Sebastian Job maybe just getting within touching distance of Dennis, and he sets another fastest lap of the race, a 1:05.461. So he is on a mission and is driving and leaving nothing out there. He's driving so well, is Sebastian Job so far. Lock up again from Dennis, further forward up the field. As they come downhill once again, this is Colin Spork now on the back of René Boutler, the overtake car. So it's going to be interesting to see this battle develop for 7th and 8th, the final couple of points places on the track today. Spork looks to the inside, dives, outside, dives on the inside. Contact from Colin Spork on René Boutler there. And he has to yield that position. You just saw it go a little twitchy under braking. And Colin Spork's now going to pull out late once more. It's more contact between Colin and René. And again, they touch under braking Colin Spork. Surely has to yield the position to René Boutler there. Open the door by pushing René a little wide. He's going to try around the outside of turn 4. Turn 4, sorry. Down in towards turn 5 and 6 now, and around the outside he sweeps. Gets the move finally done. It was a good move in the pass, in the end. But for Colin Spork, very twitchy under braking, trying to outbrake René Boutler in some final couple of corners then. And there is René down in P8 now. Sebastian Job has had that gap just around 2 seconds for a while. It is Dennis who's back on the rear end of Page within 1.5 seconds. That gap is coming, ebbing and flowing all the time. And there is Spork, you see on the camera, there is him in his simulator. Colin Spork now moves into P7. Lap 16 of 18 in this race so far. It is Dara McCormack from Marco Page, and then it is Dennis Schoeniger. So far, your top 3. Williams Esports from Veloce Esports from Williams Esports. 1, 2, 3. Sebastian Job. It's going to be interesting to see how many push-to-pass usages these drivers have left at this stage in the race. Does Sebastian have a couple in the locker to use late on, or has he used them all up? So leaders start lap 17 of 18. 1 minute 5 a lap, so a very quick lap around here before the longer lap of Silverstone in a few moments' time. Here is your race leader, Dara McCormack, who's been absolutely brilliant in this race so far. He's been outstanding. And really has been the pick of the drivers today. Great start off the line. He got up the inside of Sebastian Job at turn 1. And it was absolutely fantastic to see. He's just controlled his race. He's had great pace in this one as he rounds the final corner. You see there from our camera shots in the Zurich Airport Racing Lounge. And he starts the final lap of the race. This is Colin Spork for P7 at the moment, just pulling away from René Boutler in this one at the moment. The gaps just look like this is how it's going to be. Luke Whitehead, after his mistake, was on the podium. Let's not forget earlier on. Here's Payich, poor exit from turn 2. You just see that little correction on the steering wheel. Down the hill he comes again. Looks like he's going to be settling for second in this race. Great opener to the day. We've got Silverstone and the Ascari circuit to come as well. This is all for a trip to Ascari. Don't forget, race 2 will be reverse grid of this race. So René Butler will be the driver on pole position. You have to fancy Sebastian Job coming from that mid-pack in race 2. This is going to be brilliant to see what he can do in the race. There's Dara McCormack then, rounds the final corner, crosses the line. He will be the race 1 winner. Marco Pajic will take P2. And then Dennis Schoeniger, P3. Sebastian Job, P4. Luke Whitehead, P5. Rounds the final corner now. Gregor Schill will take P6. Colin Spork, P7, and René Butler, P8. But it is Dara McCormack who takes the race win for Williams Esports, takes 15 points to his name as well. So absolutely brilliant to see already in this one. I believe we can speak with Izzy now, who has Dara with us for a quick interview.
I do indeed. I have our race 1 winner, Dara McCormack. Congratulations. I mean, dramatic start, but you came out on top, so that's what matters really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect that to happen, of course. I tried to stay as much on the inside as I could, and then obviously drama unfolded behind me, so I was like, okay, I have a gap, pushed past in first 2 laps and made the gap over 1 second, so I just managed it from there. Went for a couple of fast laps in the middle of the race, and that's it.
Yeah, we could kind of see that you pulled the gap, and then it did look like you were sort of just managing it, just running your own race out there. Is that how it felt to you?
Yeah, it was just keeping it consistent, and then in the middle I just went for 2 quick laps, and yeah, after that just brought home again. That's it.
And that does mean that you will be starting from the back in the next race. How are we feeling for that? Do you think you can come through the pack?
Luck is always involved when it comes to this. Like, being taken out by somebody else is a high probability. So yeah, I'm going to try my best.
All right, well, congratulations for the race 1 win. That is our race 1 winner, Darren McCormack. We're going to go to a quick ad break, and I'm going to see if I can find another one of the drivers to chat to. Welcome back to the lounge. I have now got another one of our drivers, our P2 driver from that race 1, Marco Pajic. Marco, that was a chaotic race, but you managed to secure P2, so you must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I think at the start there was some chaos, and I managed to profit from that, and yeah, held onto P2, and that's a good points tally going forward into the next 2 races, and I hope that I'll manage to get into the top 3 and win the prize.
And I mean, Dennis was coming up really close behind you at certain points in the race there. We just saw him struggling slightly towards the end, but did that feel like a lot of pressure for you in the sim?
Yeah, he kept the pressure high. It was basically pushing every lap flat out, trading lap times with Dennis. He did a really good job, but I managed to keep it clean and extend that gap ever so slightly, lap by lap, and yeah, at the end it was good enough for P2.
Well, congratulations. We wish you best of luck for race 2. And now we are going to go back to Matthew because he's going to explain race 2 to us.
I am indeed, Izzy. Thank you very much there. So race 2 now coming up at the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, the home of British motorsport, will be a reverse grid of that first race. So that means for René Butler there, it'll be P1 on the grid for him. With Colin Spork, P2, then it'll be Gregor Schill, Luke Whitehead, Sebastian Job, then it will be Dennis Schoeniger, Marco Pajic and then Dara McCormack will be on pole position, as the graphic shows here. That is the full classification of race results. Flip then, that is going to be the grid for race 2 at Silverstone, with a 20-minute race again, obviously equivalent into laps, but this is now going to give chance for Rene to start on pole position and take that fantastic opportunity of getting into getting a race win and getting some points on the board in this race. So this is going to be absolutely fantastic to see what Rene Butler can do from P1, but also what Dara McCormack can do from the back of the grid around the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. This will be the last time we see the Formula 1 car on track as well today, because for race 3 at Ascari, we'll be going to the Formula 3 car that we saw last time out for the Challenger League and Race League drivers on the road to Ascari. We can take a look at a few replays from the last race of a few things that happened out there on the circuit. This was Rene Butler then, who ran a little wide at one stage of the race. Colin Spork, we saw just bounce off the curb and get that snap from the car, that tank slapper, if you will, sending him it sideways into the wall, just bounces off, unsettled, bang, round she goes into the wall. Luckily, Colin could continue in the race and managed to get onto the back of Rene Butler as well. This is Gregor Schill. Little wiggle on the exit of turn 2 then, and as he came downhill, he was able to try and put some pressure on Rene Butler. And yeah, you just see that determination on his face. Look at how determined he was to make sure he got past. Here was the overtake that he did up towards turn 2. It was a great move. Rene just locked up on the brakes as he entered into the corner and couldn't come back at him. But once again, look, using that push to pass, you just see the battery power taking advantage there. Hits his apex, picks his braking zones, absolutely pitch perfect. Here is Pajic then. This was Dennis on the back of him earlier in the race. A few lockups for both of these drivers. Dennis just not able to mount a big enough challenge on the back of Pajic, ultimately costing him the chance to have a fight for P2, but a great result for P3 nonetheless, and 10 points that he'll take going into that next race. That was him locking up, nearly going into the back of Pajic. Imagine if he had done that there. Sebastian Job may have been in the contention for that podium spot, but Dara McCormack, as he said to him there, was really in control of his own pace and his own race. He was out front, not by miles, but was within a comfortable distance, and he was able to take control of what he did. Big moment there for Dennis, so well held, as we just see here. Look, unlike the driver before, the car before, didn't touch that sausage curb just a little too early on the throttle. That was what caused the car to just step out on him on the rear. And Sebastian Job as well, coming through, using as much curb as he can. He was fully committed to the cause in the race here, obviously being hit from behind at turn 1. Not the ideal start to your race. This was Colin Spork's fight with Rene Butler. Then at the end of the race, a late move to pull out. You just see the car locking up and not wanting to turn into the side. That gave Rene Butler the place back. Then down towards turn 3. It's on board. Look, watches both front wheels lock up. Doesn't want to turn in. And yeah, Rene got the place back, but then coming downhill once again, you see the car all over the place, left and right, under braking, twitchy as ever. Again, contact with Rene Butler. That led to him, though, get a run around the outside, in which was great side-by-side action. Just look at the car here, just little unsettled on the brakes, even dropped a wheel on the grass. So interesting to see from Spork there, but managed to get the move done around the outside. Dara McCormack, what a race win for him in this first race of the day at the Red Bull Ring. He, though, will go from last place in the race. So the points that was for the drivers at the moment: Dara McCormack 15, Pajic 12, Dennis will be on 10, Sebastian 8, that will be Gregor on 6, Spork will be on Gregor will be on 5, Spork will be on 4, and 3 for Rene then in that race. So we've got race 2 coming up in just a few moments' time. The drivers will be able to just have a bit of a relaxation period, a bit of fluids to take on board before they can get into their cockpits once again, and they'll be able to be in the car for that race. So this is going to be a fantastic one to see around the home of British motorsport. Obviously, we get to go back to where it started here in Britain. and a fantastic, one of the most iconic circuits on the calendars of most motorsport events. And we, I believe, have a great track guide for you for Silverstone. So the home of British motorsport, 3.6 miles, 5.8 kilometres, and some fantastic, iconic corners, 3 fantastic sectors. And what a track this is. The old airfield in Northamptonshire, not far away from here in the studio, as our Pagani car will once again take you on a lap around this Silverstone circuit. Then you come down the Sir Lewis Hamilton start straight, where you approach turn 1 of Abbey. You see the Pagani then coming up. It's a slight lift, flat if you're brave, just clipping the apex of Abbey. You go to the left before staying left for Farm. Then you're right, back across the left-hand side of the circuit, hard on the brakes as you then come into Village. And again, stay sort of middle of the circuit, back across the right, down the gears, in towards the loop that puts the national and international track together. Now through Aintree, flat corner all over the apex. You're on the Wellington straight, and a great chance to get a run out of Aintree down towards Brooklands if you can. Heavy braking zone once again, down a couple of gears for the first part of this iconic section. Brooklands into Luffield. You've got to hurry up and wait to get on the throttle here before you pick the throttle up and you come down the old start straight here at Silverstone through Woodcote. Flat out through you go, down towards and famous Copse Corner. We know all too well what happened here. Through Copse you go. And now you come up to one of the best sections of this track. Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. Left, right, as much curb through that second part as you want. Now to the third part, into Beckett's you come. And now you get the Chapel curve before coming on to the Hangar straight. And again, good run through Maggots and Beckett's needed if you are to get a good launch down towards Stowe. Again, another corner, you drop down a couple of gears and just have to hurry up and wait to get back on the power if you are to get a good launch out of here. Down the short run of Vale before you hit the club chicane, bringing an end to this lap. Left and then a double right. Again, patient on the throttle. It is all required before you come through the final part of club, and they come across the start line to complete a lap of Silverstone then. What a lap it is. What a track it is as well. And it is reverse grid. So it'll be René Boutler, the man on pole position. I believe we can bring the grid up for you now. It'll be René Boutler on pole, as we know. After that, it will be Colin Spork. Then it'll be Gregor Schill. There it is, Gregor Schill, P3. P4 will then be Luke Whitehead. Sebastian Joe, P5. Dennis Schoeniger, P6. Marco Pajic, P7. And Dara McCormack, P8. Going from the back of the pack. Not a bad place to start going into Abbey for the first time today. The drivers are lined up on the grid. They are already back in their simulators and on the grid here in this race. So the drivers are getting ready to go. We are just awaiting the lights on here at Silverstone. 30 seconds till race start. So the drivers will be taking on final fluids, taking on final preparations in the zone they will be getting now before this race at Silverstone. What a circuit. As well, a thank you to our partners you see there in the background on the advertising boards. Big thank you to them. Big thank you to all the esports team who came out today as well. What a turnout it has been. What an event for all these drivers. Now, this is René Boutler actually going from second place. I wonder if race control determined that he would be going from P2 then and got the place back. We are underway though here at Silverstone. And it is all clean through Abbey. It's a great start from Colin Spork though so far. And it is fantastic to see all these drivers get through the first part of the circuit as they all come now in towards the loop for the first time. It is all a bit hustle and bustle in the middle of the pack, and they all manage to get through pretty cleanly and the drivers still all 2 or 3 abreast coming through Aintree on towards the Wellington Straight. Down towards Brooklands, Dennis Schoeninger then, so far trying to make up as many places as he possibly can. He is already up into P4, he's ahead of Luke Whitehead, so he's had a good start. Sebastian Jobe up to P3 as well, he's gained a couple of places in this race. And Dennis trying to follow him through. Luke Whitehead down to 6th, down to 5th, Rennie Bootler down to 6th place. Dara McCormack has only gained 1 from the start, he's got ahead of Page. And then this all-star event through Maggots in towards Beckett's now. What a camera shot that is. Sebastian Jobe already on the back of Gregor Schill for the first time in this race. Is this McCormack looking to the outside of Whitehead at the club chicane then, trying to get them moved on. No, that's Dennis Schoeninger then, ahead of Gregor Schill, apologies. And that is a great move for him done. Through he goes. And that moves him up to P3, and Dennis already being ahead of his 2 challengers in this all-star battle is already putting drivers under pressure. And I'm just seeing in front of me that, yeah, Rennie Bootler, I believe, got the position back from Colin Spork. So that is why he started P2 on the grid. So already a change in the points then. So it is Spork from Jobe, Schoeninger going side by side with Dara McCormack, who's now moved his way up into P4. They've got Luke Whitehead with them as well. On the back of him is Gregor Schill at the moment. So a good start to this race from all these drivers. Now we start to see the field spread a little bit. Lap 2 of 15 we're on. So it is Colin Spork from Sebastian Jobe, Dennis Schoeninger, Dara McCormack, Luke Whitehead, Gregor Schill, Marco Page is here. Comes Sebastian Jobe on the race leader for the race lead. He was pole at Red Bull Ring. He takes the lead now through Stowe, down to Dalvell towards the club chicane, manages to get the move done. And that is Sebastian Jobe, who moves up 1 position there. He's into the lead of this race. Colin Spork drops down to 2nd place now. He's also got, that is Dennis Schoeninger on the back of him, so he's looking to take more points as Schoeninger takes the fastest lap around Silverstone here. Lap 3 of 15. Great move from Sebastian late on in this race. Page wanting to get past Whitehead. He needs to get onto the back of his championship rivals. What has happened to Jobe, though? Because on the timing screens, he's dropped down to P3 as he made a mistake somewhere. Page on the back of Whitehead, pulls out down the Wellington Straight to look up the inside into Brooklands. Is he going to try and hang it around the outside then for Luffield? No, he has a big snap. Manages to keep it all together. But Page didn't get the move done. He's lost a lot of momentum in this one already. But what has happened to Sebastian Jobe? He's dropped from P1 to P3. Dennis Schoeninger now up into 2nd place, and Colin Spork leads again. And Dara McCormack is on the back of Sebastian Jobe. There you see, coming into Maggots and Beckett's. It's nearly 4 for the lead on lap 3 of 15. Not quite sure what happened to the race leader there then, but he's tumbled down the standings. This is your fastest man out there on circuit at the moment. Dennis Schoeninger, just on the rear of Colin Spork, through club to start the 4th lap of this race. He's looking, not close enough going into Abbey. What about through form, using a lot of the curb? Sets himself up now as they come in towards Village. Later on the brakes, gives him the space, does Colin Spork. Side by side now at the loop. Is he going to try and get that cut back underneath? Sebastian Jobe might fancy a look. He's on the outside for Aintree. Dennis Schoeninger all on the runoff, side by side and ahead of Colin Spork. Now Sebastian Jobe fancies a look up the inside into Brooklands. Spork could go nowhere, and Jobe gets them both done at Brooklands. Runs a little deep, but it doesn't compromise him too much. Keeps the race lead going into Luffield. That is a fantastic move from Sebastian Jobe there. And Dennis Schoeninger, who thought he had this race lead, is now under pressure for P3. Spork pulls out and has a look at Cox, but doesn't fancy his chances. Sebastian Job really wanted that one into Brooklands. That was fantastic racing. Dara McCormack P4 on the back of this trio up front. What a move from Sebastian Job. He left it all on the line and made sure he made that one stick. That was great racing. Dennis Schoeninger now on the back. Trying to get on the back of Sebastian Job. He's now got Dara McCormack, his Williams Esports teammate. They're all fighting for their own individual points today, representing their esports team, but fighting for their own points for that trip to Ascari. And at the minute for Dennis and Dara, who's already been on the podium, you have to feel that in this second race, this could be even better for them to take more points. Through Village into the loop, Colin Spork. After that last place, he'll be looking for some more points to his name as well. But a great race already in this Silverstone race. 10 laps to go. And you feel that all the moves aren't done. Pejic hasn't come anywhere at the minute. P7 has not progressed. He stayed where he has and just doesn't have the pace around this Silverstone circuit like he did at the Red Bull Ring. Cannot get past Gregor Schill. Can't get close enough to Gregor Schill at the moment. Pejic down in towards Copse Corner. Little downshift as he goes through. From 8th to 7th. Now into Maggots Beckett, Job, Schoeninger, McCormack, Spork. And then it's Whitehead, Gregor and Marco. All coming through. René Butler way off the back. He must have made a mistake somewhere. Fedora, if it was to stay like this at the moment, he would then take 10 points, putting himself on 25. While for Dennis Schoeninger, he would then be on to 22. Sebastian Job taking the full 15. 23. So, interesting to see Pejic is only going to score 4 points at the minute. So he'd be on 16, so he's just fell off the back of the top couple of drivers going into Ascari, in which the drivers only got to drive Ascari for the first time today. So it's going to be interesting to see them. Don't forget, the grid order for Ascari is the race result of this race. The lap 6 of 15 here. Cormac now having a look a bit closer. Speaking of having a look, Pejic up the inside of Brooklands on that of Gregor Schill there. Gregor fighting back through Luffield. So now Pejic starting to have that momentum on his side. He's got past Gregor then, and he can now head after Luke Whitehead. But Dara McCormack is the man who really needs to try and put pressure on that of Dennis Schoeninger. You see him having a little look there, was that? Had a little look to sort of say to his teammate, you know, I'm there. Up 6 of 15, down the Vale straight they come once again. Sebastian Job from Dennis Schoeninger, Dara McCormack, Colin Spork, Luke Whitehead. There's Marco Pejic, Gregor Schill and René Butler. A bit off the back. I wonder what happened to René in this race. Dara McCormack will still lead the championship, or the mini championship if you will, after this one. If it stays as it is, Dennis Schoeninger though P2. Fastest lap of the race still for Dennis. This is where the experience of these drivers comes in, not just in a race format, but in a championship format. He knows the prize is nearly with him. He's got to make sure he gets it. So it's that strategy of where to finish, when to push, if to make the overtake that is going to be the key for Dara in this race. Not close enough to Dennis at the moment though. They've dropped Colin Spork. He's being caught by Luke Whitehead in this race. And Pejic will want to try and get on the back of Whitehead as well. Within a second of him. You see them in the background. Here is Colin Spork with the drone camera. Just behind him, Luke Whitehead and Pejic. Within about 2 seconds of him all, them two cars. Gregor Schill not being able to stick with Page, come with him in this race. And for Colin Spork. Be interesting to see what he can do. Page now on the back of Whitehead in towards Abbey for the 8th time of racing. 8 of 15. Marco Page just starting to put pressure on. So now he's moved up that order a little bit. We'll give him 5 points to go with his 12. That'll put him on 17. He was looking for that extra point from Luke Whitehead, which will put him on to 18 points. And if he can get on the back of Spork, we'll give him 8. So that'll put him on 20 points, keeping him on that contention going into Ascari, and it'll put him on the back of the the three drivers that he'll need to be fighting with at Ascari, but he's got to get past Whitehead and then Colin Spork to be on the back of them points-wise going into that 3rd and final race. So here is Page, getting a little closer to his Veloce team race. And these two, what will happen here, because obviously they're fighting, even though they're on that same team for Veloce Esports, they're all fighting for themselves as well in terms of their own prize to get the track day to Escari. Dara McCormack coming down the Wellington Straight now in towards Brooklands for that 9th time. He's kind of been there or thereabouts on Dennis Schoeninger for the entire race at the moment. He's not really troubled Dennis at any moment. Sebastian's managed to get that gap and just again control it like Dara did in race 1. Payicho is also in a similar position. He just seems to be getting on the back of Whitehead without troubling him at the moment. Through Copse, here just downshift with a lift through Copse corner. They come now into Maggots and Beckett's. They're both gaining on that of Colin Spork just in front. You see him there. Great to see these drivers change the flick of direction of this car. And it is just a flick of the wheel to get it through. This is 3 for P4, 5 and 6. Colin Spork, the car in front, Luke Whitehead in front of this one of Mario Page, the Veloce Esports racing driver. At 10 of 15 we're on. So 6 to go. It's all just a little quiet, but you reckon there's going to be the calm before the storm at the end of this race. Page on a mission at the moment to get closer to his Veloce Esports teammate. So we've got a Veloce battle for 5th and 6th. We've got a Williams Esports battle for 2nd and 3rd. Page now getting close where he's just going to start to be a nuisance, but as will the dirty air off the back of Luke Whitehead's car just start to play with Page's downforce and his aerodynamics on the front of his car, just not giving him the grip he's going to desire coming through these corners. He wants to get the move done as soon as he possibly can. This could allow Colin Spork actually to just maybe extend his legs a little bit as he comes through. Right, into Maggots and Beckett's we go again. Now into Chapel before the hanger straight. Any push to pass left. Down the straight they come, brake hard in towards Stowe, flicks it right through the right-hand bend. Now, still Sebastian Joe from Dennis Schoeninger, Dara McCormack P3, Colin Spork 4th, Luke Whitehead 5th, Marco Page P6, Gregor Schill, and then René Boutler. Rounding out the top 8 drivers. Connor Spork, again, Luke Whitehead's just not putting Connor Spork under a lot of pressure at the moment, is he? He's just managing to be there and be a nuisance, but he's not putting him under immense pressure in this race. So he's been able to just maintain his pace and do what he's doing, not really have to drive defensive lines. Luke Whitehead, who scored 6 points in that first race, he's going to want a few more. He's going to want to be in that contention going into Ascari. Here is Whitehead. On the back of Spork now, the number 55 you see there on the halo. Left, right, left, hanger straight. Great section of the circuit. Absolutely fantastic section of this racetrack. And here is Dennis Schoeniger. Up towards Stowe Corner. Just looks like he's dropped off the back of Spork a little bit. Sorry, this is Luke Whitehead, sorry. Dropped off the back of Spork a little bit. He's back under pressure once again from that of his Veloce teammate, Marco Pejic. Schoeniger still with the fastest lap. There is the view of Pejic that you can see now in his simulator, just looking at the back of the two cars. A bit of a wiggle for all three of them there. To be fair, as they came through, you saw on the screen of Pejic. This is looking back from Whitehead now, though. Pejic in that slipstream, braking hard in towards Luffield. Brooklands now into Luffield. Lap 12 of 15, so not many to go. So for Pejic, really needs to get a wiggle on in terms of making up these 2 places to really be on the back of the points and on the back of his rivals going into that final race at Ascari. Here is Dara McCormack, the winner of race 1, currently sat in P3s on the back of his team, Williams Esports teammate of Dennis Schoeniger then, without again putting real immense pressure on the back of him. It's been a steady race for both of these drivers. Great move though by Sebastian Job to take this race lead early in it. He just dropped down through Vale into Club to start lap 13. Leave 3 laps left on the board. So Sebastian Job, Dennis Schoeniger, Diane McCormack, it is Oracle Red Bull Racing Esports, from Williams Esports, from William Esports, the top 3. This man, when he's got in front and pulled that gap, he has not looked back. He would have wanted to do this at Red Bull Ring, but he is doing it now. There you see him in his simulator in the Zurich Airport Lounge. If you are there, I hope you're enjoying the day and the action that is all live for you. And this is Pejic, who's got ahead of Whitehead on the timing screen, so we didn't see that one happen, but he's done him down the Wellington Straight. Luke Whitehead drops behind Pejic, and now Pejic can maybe put a challenge onto that of Colin Spork with a few laps to go. Saving it maybe till the exact point he wanted, and this is the strategies that these drivers will know what to do and when to do them. Because now for Pejic, he's got an opportunity of maybe being on the back of the other 3 drivers ahead of him in them championship standings. So Luke Whitehead down to 6th, Pejic up to 5th, Colin Spork still P4, Gregor Schill 7th and René Boutler P8. Don't forget race 3 will be the grid order of this second race here. Sebastian Job now taking fastest lap of the race. So he's turned his car up a little bit and has decided now it's time to put his foot down and get that fastest lap. So great to see from him. Here's Dara McCormack, who has just gone off the back of Schoeniger a little bit here over the last couple of laps. Quite a bit over the last lap or 2. He was a bit closer than that earlier on. Clearly deciding that he's going to settle for that P3 spot then. Clearly thinking that is better than nothing. Points mean prizes, and don't forget it is the top 3, so it's not like the winner is just the only driver that goes to Escari. It is the top 3 drivers that go to Escari. Colin Spork with 1 and a bit laps left, 1.5 laps left to go. Can he hang on in there over that of Pajic? Part of the esports at the Alpine esports team is Colin Spork. He'll be looking for a good win today. The 22 champion in the Formula Sim Racing Championship up against the Veloce Esports and Mercedes F1 Esports driver as well, actually. Let's not forget that one. Who Pajic actually got to compete with our very own Racing Unleashed Ciro Zambra at the Prodigy Week in Atlanta a while back last year, I believe that was, middle of last year. Here he is on the final lap, not close enough to Spork at the moment, so he's going to be a bit off his championship rivals going into the final race at Ascari, but really gained through Village, now through the loop, and in towards Aintree. Looks a little closer to the back of Spork than what he did before. Does he have any usages of push to pass left in the battery? Has a look into Brooklands, showing his nose to Spork. Spork's now just starting to drive a little defensive. You're coming into Luffield. Get a good run out of here down towards Copse. For Marco Pajic, all of a sudden trying to look on the back of a P4 position. Here is Dennis Schoeniger then. He's gone through Copse. He's coming to Maggots and Beckett. They come up the hanger straight for the final time. Pajic and Spork still going at it. Here they are now. He's lost a bit of time, though, through this lap as Pajic. It looks like it potentially is going to be a P5. But for Sebastian Job, it is going to be 15 points for him. And a great win for Sebastian as he wins here at Silverstone. Dennis Schoeniger will be P2. P3 will go the way of Dara McCormack. P4 for Colin Spork, it looks like as well. Indeed it is. P5 then for Pajic, Luke Whitehead P6, Gregor Scholl P7, and René Boutler P8. So interesting to see there in terms of them points then. So Sebastian Job taking the full 15, Dennis Schoeniger taking the 12. The 10 points go in the way of Dara McCormack as well. So that's interesting in terms of the top 3. There is the race winner, Fabio Vertiger, in the background. I'm sure he'll be looking forward to chatting to a few of the drivers there then. A few replays we can see from the start of this race. It was a good start from Colin Spork, who led from pole, obviously due to the reverse grid. It was a great start for him. You just see the launch he got over René Boutler on that second row of the grid. René Boutler looked round the outside, contact that pushed him wide. That was from Job. And then that put René Boutler down the order quite a bit in this one. Now we will wait for that full classification in this race to come through. Obviously race control will now take a look at everything. Luke Whitehead having a great scrap with Sebastian Job in this race as well. And we do have an interviewer ready, standing by with Izzy. Izzy.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the lounge. I'm with our P2 from that race, Dennis Schoeniger. Dennis, I mean, you've been pretty consistent today, a P3 and then a P2, so you must feel good after that one.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Ascari track, so let's see what comes. We're in a good position, maybe not in the position to risk everything, so we'll look what's to come.
And just talk to us about that race from your perspective. I mean, we saw quite a few drivers struggling out there. Were you just head down?
No, it was just head down, get the best possible position, and just do your own thing and try to survive.
Well, you spoke a little bit there about our final race that's coming up, the Escari track. That'll obviously be the same track as is for the prize, if you were to win that prize. So, are you feeling a little bit more nervous for that track, perhaps?
Of course, it's the last race where everything gets decided, so the nervous level rises a bit, but I have a nice teammate alongside me, and I hope we can do something very nice here in the last race.
All right, well, we wish you best of luck. Go prepare for that race. Okay, so now we are going to go to a quick clip of our AMZ Formula student team, who is going to be one of our guests in the lounge today. Well, you would have just seen there the promo video for the AMZ Formula student team. I am now joined by Yannick from that team. Yannick, I mean, you guys have done something pretty special recently, haven't you? You broke a world record, so just tell us about that.
Yeah, it's for sure a super exciting thing. You know, electric cars can be really exciting to race, and what we really try to achieve is to push the absolute boundary of what is possible and to break that 1 second barrier for an electric car to accelerate to 100 kilometers an hour in that time. It's just amazing. It's everything we hoped for and more.
And what kind of inspired your team to go for that world record?
It's a long-standing tradition between us and some other teams from the Formula student community. We have a little bit of a friendly rivalry going on with the Stuttgart team, where we constantly pushing each other to improve those times further. And it's also just an amazing opportunity for young engineers and students to really develop their skills in the best environment and working with some amazing technology as well.
And it was, I mean, I'm sure a massive, massive team effort from everyone. Just tell us about the process. I mean, a lot of sleepless nights, I can imagine.
Yeah, for sure. This was some organizational effort, for sure. It's a big team that worked on it, more than 30 people. And they spent, you know, their entire free time for more than a year. They went through a design phase where they spent like half a year just coming up with all the new designs for the parts, and then put the car together, and then they had to bring it up to performance. So a lot of long nights, as you said, and a lot of weekends spent just in the workshop building the car.
But you did it, so congratulations, and thank you for bringing along one of your cars for us to see. As you can see, just behind me is one of their Formula student cars. Now, as we are up here at the top of the race lounge, we are going to take a little bit of a look around the rest of the lounge. So if I just come this way, we can see one of our GT simulators as well. But also, what I really want to show you is just right behind. So if we just squeeze through, we've got many, many spectators with us today. We have got the race control. Now, you might have heard Matthew talking during the races about race control potentially looking at some incidents. Well, this is where it is all done. So race control is done in the lounge during the races, and all that does is it helps to ensure the integrity and the fairness of our competition today. Now we're going to continue down, and as we continue around the lounge, we are going to go down the stairs, and I'm going to do my best to try not to fall down the stairs as I walk down. But we do have that race 3 coming up very, very shortly, so you'll probably see in the background some of the drivers just getting ready for that race 3. So finally, the last thing I wanted to show you is just a little bit around the lounge itself. So we've got 10 amazing sims in this lounge, and it is just a state-of-the-art facility. and it is absolutely fantastic to see the drivers all really engaging. And we do have one of the drivers from the Racing Unleashed community with me now, Ciro Zambra. Ciro, just tell us about how it is to drive one of these sims.
Well, for me, it's amazing. Also, you know, I prepare too for real life, so these sims are really nice because they have motion, and it's just better than any sim at home.
And I mean, it's been a fantastic day so far. You actually have also raced against or driven against one of our all-stars, Marko Pejic, today. So is it fantastic to see him back in the lounge?
Yes, it's really nice. I was in Atlanta with him in the Real Radicals, and to meet him here again is really nice. Had a nice chat with him.
And have you got a favourite going into the final race?
Well, I hope for Marco to get it, and Sebastian Schaub is also a really nice person. I would like if he would get it too. He probably will. I think it's almost safe now, but I really hope for Marco.
Well, thank you very much for speaking to us. I've got another one of your friends from the Racing Unleashed community next to me, Yannick. I mean, Yannick, this is just a fantastic facility. We've just been talking about it with Ciro. So how important is it that we get as many people in here to try out these sims?
It's really important. I mean, it's a great atmosphere here. It was a great overall event today, and I'm really looking forward to the last race.
Yeah, we've got an exciting last race coming up. I mean, this is where things are going to be decided. So if you were in their shoes, would you be feeling, you know, a bit of pressure, a bit nervous at this point?
Yes, definitely. I mean, if you're in P4 or P5, everything is on the line for itself. It's a really thrilling, and it's a big prize, you know?
It is, you're absolutely right. It is a big prize. And we are now going to go to that Ascari race. So we're going to head up to Matthew, back in commentary, to give us the explainer of that Ascari race.
Thank you, Izzy, and it's great to see Ciro Zambra and Yannick Pletcher there, the current Challenger League champion, who'll be taken to the Race League track in a few months' time when we're back for our championship here on the Assetto Corsa platform. Then Escari race coming up momentarily, and the result of that is the starting grid of that, apologies, is the race result of race 2, and I can see it here in front of me. No, there was one penalty given, but that does not change the result. So it still will be Sebastian Joe P1, Dennis Schoeninger will be P2, Dara McCormack P3, Colin Spork P4, Marko Pejic will be P5, Luke Whitehead 6th, Gregor Schill P7th, and René Butler P8 in that one then. But we can now, as there is the final classification on screen for you then. That is that is great to see, which means by my mathematics, and I'm no mathematician, and this could be completely wrong, but it's pretty easy because the points are simple today. Dara leads the way on 25 points. Then it is Dennis on 22 points. Then it is Sebastian Jobs on 23 points. Then Dara on 22 points. They are currently the top 3 in the championship. In fact, there we go. Don't need to look at my notes because it's already on screen. Marko Pejic is P4. Colin Spork and Luke Whitehead are tied on 11 points apiece. Gregor Schill on 7th on 9. And René Butler on 7 points, bringing up the rear. So there are the points then, as we did now have a little clip of one of our brand new simulators, all for Pagani as well. So if you are interested in purchasing one of the lovely Pagani cars, you get yourself a cheeky little simulator matching the colours of the Pagani you get. And this is fantastic to partner with them and work with them for this Racing Unleashed simulator. Look at that, absolutely stunning. The green and red help, fantastic colours on that Pagani simulator as well, I'm not going to lie, but that is a beautiful piece of equipment, and that could be yours. All you have to do is buy a Pagani. So, yeah, absolutely brilliant. Fantastic piece of equipment there. And as Izzy was saying there with Yannick Pletcher and Ciro Zambra, you know, these lounges that give the drivers such experiences from the Challenger and Race League, for these drivers to do, we need one in the UK. It's as simple as that. They are fantastic. We need some more worldwide. I believe, though, we do have Izzy with another interview with one of our drivers from today.
We do indeed. Welcome back to the lounge. Once again, I am with Luke Whitehead. Luke, just tell us how the day is going so far from your perspective.
Well, first off, hello everyone. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. How do I summarise it? It's been a bit of a rough one, to be honest. Not really had the pace, just kind of been in no man's land the whole time, really. Just not playing to my strengths, to be honest with you. not driving as well as I would have hoped, but nonetheless, I think we've kept our nose clean for the most part, so I guess that's a positive, but yeah, just a bit disappointing, I think. Would have liked to be a bit closer, but it happens. It is what it is.
And we've had 2 races so far, so we're just about to have the final race. Obviously, we're going to be in a different car this time, so could that throw some challenges, maybe throw you up in the mix?
Definitely. I mean, the track, everyone's been saying all day, like they found it very, very difficult. It was very, very bumpy. And obviously the F3 as well, we're driving in this race. It's low downforce, low grip. So it's a combination that you don't really want to be having. But from my side, I enjoy it very much. And it plays a bit more to my strengths. I'm not as strong in the downforce heavy cars. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to big myself up too much. But practice times looked semi-competitive. So anything can happen. I think it's going to be a race of survival.
Anything can happen, you're right. And I mean, also with these 3 races, I mean, we've had a 20-minute, and we're about to have a 30-minute. I do just need to mention, Matthew said it earlier on the commentary, you actually did a 24-hour race all by yourself. So this must be nothing, right?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, every race is intense in its own way, right? But yeah, for sure. It's definitely not as long-winded as what the 24 hours was. I don't think I'll ever find a race, long and monotonous again. So, but yeah, it's still very taxing. Obviously, being a LAN event, it's something completely different, something that I'm not really that used to. So, it's a challenge for all of us. And obviously, being in the really warm cockpit, sitting on the floor, pretty much, it's not the most comfortable either, which is again another challenge. So, but yeah, it's always difficult in its own way.
Well, we wish you best of luck for the final race. Thank you for speaking to us. You can go off and start your preparations for the final race.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I've now got another driver who I'm going to bring in. While we've got this downtime in between the races, it's nice to just chat to some of our characters. And I am now joined by Gregor Schill. Gregor, I mean, Luke was just talking about how the LAN environment can kind of throw up some different things. How aware are you of the other drivers when you're in the sims?
To be honest, when I'm in the sim, it's just like me and the car, to be honest. Everything else disappears, so for me, that's personally not an issue. I'm completely zoomed in and zoned out at the same time, so everything perfect for me.
Well, that's lucky. Good that it's perfect for you, because yeah, Luke was saying that he was struggling a bit. So if we take it back to the events, I mean, race 1 and race 2 now out the way. How do you feel that they went for you?
I mean, the first race was a bit unfortunate where I got turned around, but I recovered to P6 again, which was a solid, result for that. Second race didn't went how I wanted to. I just had to work a bit more on my push-to-pass management, and maybe next time also I will be better.
So that push-to-pass management is something that we haven't really touched on throughout the show. So how are you kind of choosing, without giving away too much of your secrets, how are you kind of choosing when to deploy it?
I mean, normally it's if you want to stay in the slipstream, so you just use the push-to-pass to stay in touch. So you still have the benefit from a slipstream, or if you see someone catching behind and also activate the push-to-pass, you activate it again as a response, so you still stay ahead.
And one final race that we're about to go into. So what's the attitude for this? Are we just going to absolutely send it?
Yeah, I mean, nothing to lose, right? So yeah, I will try my best and enjoy it and give my best as always.
All right, well, best of luck. Thank you. Go off and do your preparations. And we are now about to bring in one more of our drivers. We have got Colin Spork. Come on in. Come on. Don't be shy. Join me. How's your day been so far, Colin?
It's been enjoyable. I've been really enjoying the event and how everything is organized. Been learning the sims. It's not the easiest thing, but yeah, very enjoyable so far.
Yeah, so just talk to us about the motion sims. How much experience have you had with these kind of simulators before?
Well, 0 to very limited. I mean, of course, in esports we don't really usually drive with motion sims, so it's only when we're on events and it's like a showcase, then you try it. But it's not something that I'm used to at all. Luckily, it's not extremely reactive, so it's not really that distracting. Because sometimes the motion sims are very distracting, but it's not the case here. So that's good. That's one less pain to worry about. Yeah.
So has it thrown kind of any unexpected things during the races?
Well, sometimes it's a bit deceptive. For example, in the race that I had the first race, like when you're behind someone and sometimes you need to react to someone, you make a small change and the car just moves and you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? So it was a lot getting used to, especially when racing and how to react to cars. But yeah, I think the second race we figured it out and it was pretty easy. So yeah.
So 2 races down, as we've been saying. Both races were in the F1 cars. Now we switch to the F3 cars on a track that none of you have raced against anyone before. So how are we feeling going into this one? It's kind of a delve into the unknown almost.
It is, yes. It's a very big question mark, I think, for all of us, and because we don't know what's going to happen. Of course, we know how to race with F1 cars and on, F1 tracks. We know where the overtaking spots are, and I think honestly this will be a race of survival. For Silverstone, of course, we had like P2P, and I just made sure that I had 4 push-to-pass laps for only the last lap, so I would make sure I would not get overtaken. But this is a whole different style of driving and everything. So see who adjusts the quickest, and then hopefully stay on track, because it's not the easiest. One small mistake and you're off, and it's a big time loss. So I hope we'll survive. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Well, best of luck in the final race. You need to get back to your sim. I'll not keep you chatting any longer. Thank you for chatting to me. And now we are going to go into our final race. Now, Matthew, super interesting that both drivers, or 2 of the drivers there that I just spoke to, called it a race of survival. So it's going to be a very, very interesting one. And we'll head back to you for the final race of the day.
Thank you very much, Izzy. It is going to be a very interesting one indeed. And a race of survival, drivers with nothing to lose, as one of them said just a few moments ago. It is going to be absolutely frantic and all go here, really. And like Izzy said there to one of our interviewees, nobody has really raced each other on this circuit. They've only really driven this track today. So this is going to be fantastic to see what these drivers can do from this position, as our Fabio Vettiga, our very own Fabio Vettiga, helping the drivers out in the cockpits. And it's great to see the atmosphere. It looks an absolute brilliant atmosphere down in the Zurich Airport lounge in this race, as the drivers now climb into their cockpits. They're getting ready for the start of this next race, and the final race of the day. Once again, it is Dara McCormack who leads the way from then, apologies, just getting make sure this is right, yeah, from Dennis, from Sebastian Job, then Dennis Schoeninger, then Sebastian Job, do believe. They are the top 3 at the moment who are going into this one, as we can once again, I believe, now see the standings once more, just to remind everybody at home. There it is. It is Dara McCormack, Sebastian Job, Dennis Schoeninger, currently the top 3 fighting for that championship spot, as well as then for that Escari prize. The top 3 get the prize of the track day. We can now, though, take a look into the Ascari circuit with a little track guide going into it. Circuito Escari in the south of Spain. A lot of its corners named after famous parts of other tracks and other corners. It is 3.3 miles long, that's 5.4 kilometers. And what a track this is, owned by Racing Unleashed owner Francisco Fernandez. And the Pagani can take us through a lap of this beautiful circuit. Absolutely gorgeous scenery. And what a gorgeous track this is. The layout, the corners, everything about it is fantastic to see. They come through the final corner then, on board the Pagani. It's just, you're always on edge through every corner. The track just dropping away from you, cambering away from you. You never really get a moment's rest till you hit the straights. When you get a set of corners, they all come thick and fast. This is where drivers could find out where to overtake. You know, they've only done a little bit of practice on this circuit this morning, so it's going to be difficult for them to see where to overtake and where not to overtake. We're going to get a 30-minute race around this fantastic circuit. And what an event this has been. Look at this section here. A chicane, you pretty much straight line it. Sweep round to the long left-hander. And it just flows absolutely beautifully. And look at it as it drops away to the left. You just got to make sure everything you do around this track is inch perfect, because you do not want to make a mistake here. Tight, twisty circuit, parts of the track More flowing corners as well through the first part of it. Some good long straights to use that push to pass on. And the whole resort just absolutely beautiful as you cross that line. And the drivers will take to the grid then. And the lineup for the grid then is the race result of that first race. But here is the car they're driving. And it is the Formula 3 car we saw last time out on the road to Ascari here on Assetto Corsa. Absolutely brilliant car that these drivers are going to be using. Push to pass once again, I do believe. And this is going to be a fantastic car to drive. We saw how fun this was a month ago in our Challenger League and Racing League drivers' hands. We saw some great battles in it. And now the eSports Pro drivers get a chance to have a look at it. The All-Stars get their chance to take on this Formula 3 car. Less downforce, so a little bit more simplistic. The drivers all lining up on the grid. The F3 car should be an absolute fantastic car to race on here today. As we are about to get ready for the race then. There is your lineup. It is Sebastian Job from Dennis Schoeniger, Dara McCormack, Colin Spork, Marco Page, Luke Whitehead, Gregor Schill and René Butler at the back of the pack. They're all going for one final time at 30-minute race length here. Should be absolutely fantastic to see today. The weekend doesn't stop here for Racing Unleashed. We go again tomorrow for the iRacing event. But the lights come on now. 17 laps of this Ascari circuit. Who will be the top 3 drivers to take that track day at this famous track? And for the final time, we are green and go, and who gets the best start in the F3 car? Sebastian Job looks like he's a little bogged down as he tries to cover off at the front of Dennis Schoeniger coming in towards turn 1. Very bumpy, but I believe Dennis has taken the lead. Still side by side with Sebastian Job as they drop down in towards turn 2 now. It is Dennis who takes the lead from Sebastian. Dara McCormack coming under some pressure. That is from what looks to be from Colin Sport. Luke Whitehead is in there as well. Here is Page, who's lost out to Schill. Gets back in front now, a big slide, manages to hold on to it, well corrected there, and Schill still trying to come back at him. That is Spork, who's all out of shape. So it is Dennis Schoeniger from Sebastian Job, Dara McCormack, Luke Whitehead, René Butler is up into P5, then it's Payet, Schill and Spork drops down to 8th place, lost the back of the car coming through the section. 17 laps. Like we said, less downforce on these cars, so easier to just have a little wobble as that is. Payet's just having a look up the inside of Butler there, then he now gets alongside him, coming out the left-hander as they flick it right to come back onto the next straight. Still side by side between Page and Butler here. Great racing with Gregor Schill just waiting in the wings behind, round another right-hander, and it is now that of Butler, who's had a big slide and a big moment in his round. And I don't think there was any contact. And Payet gets going. Butler has dropped behind Spork as well, so what a shame for the overtake car. And who's that off? I believe that is Luke Whitehead who is off. Yes, it is. Payet and Schill get past him as well. So drivers just struggling at the moment. And this is a replay of Payet. Side by side, there was no contact with Butler. And that is all she wrote. Round it went. And Payet manages to get the job done. He had a little slide himself as well, so managed to hold on to that really well. You see the call there of Gregor Schill just bouncing over the curb, locking up a wheel as it drops away from him. Dennis Schoeniger from Sebastian Job, Dara McCormack, P3. Payet up into 4th place, but he needs to be ahead of the 3 in front of him, because as it stands, 3 in front will be the 3 that will take home the prize. Obviously, pending the race result from race controllers, as he mentioned a moment ago. Schill trying to stick to the back of Payet for that 4th and 5th spot. But he's just losing touch with him a little bit. We're on lap 2 of 17. get to see a fastest lap pop up as well, and I wonder who that's going to be, because at the minute, Dennis Schoedinger here is driving fantastically. As is Sebastian Job, though. The top three know what they need to do. It's not about winning in this, it's about it's about being in that top three. But these are race drivers, so you tell them it's not about winning. They're going to want to win every race they possibly can. Very, very tricky to not overheat the tyres through the last sector. Drivers are going to have to tyre manage here through these 17 laps, as well as watch their pace. So it is all going to be very difficult. As you see the banked corner there as they drop downhill now. Sebastian Job just trying to get closer to Dennis Schoedinger, but isn't able to just yet. Through they come, down the start line, start P3. Dennis takes the fastest lap. Oh, Sebastian! Jumping over the circuit there. Really aggressive through the first couple of corners. He wants this win. He wants to gain on Dennis and take that race win. He only needs to stay P2, but again, these are race drivers. They will not settle for second. They want to win every single time they're on the circuit. Here is Gregor Schill then, trying to gain on Page for P4 and 5. Gregor's on 9 points at the moment in this championship. He's had a moment though. He's gone off all on his own. This could allow Luke Whitehead the chance to come onto the back of him. Is that where the tyres are just getting a little hot, that they're just losing the grip for the drivers? Luke Whitehead now on the back of Gregor Schill, goes to the outside, takes a lot of the runoff. He's now just going to try and put his nose around the outside of Gregor Schill. Luke Whitehead, not there, he can't. And Gregor manages to close the door on that one. So Luke will have to have a look again. And on board Luke Whitehead now. Pulls out, Gregor tries to close the door. Oh, squeezes him as they come side by side through. Later on the brakes, Luke Whitehead, great move through the complex there. Now through that left, right, left chicane. And Luke Whitehead, what an overtake as they come up now to the banked corner, which I believe is named Daytona. Absolutely fantastic move, fully committed there was Luke Whitehead. Dennis Schoedinger then doing another fastest lap of the race. He is pumping in the pace at the minute, but is he looking after his tyres? Who's that off? That is Page, who was off the road there. So he's tumbled down to P6. Is that the end of his opportunity to score some points? We're only on lap 4 of 17, so a long way to go. And who's that round now? That is Gregor Schill, who's made a mistake. He was just behind Luke Whitehead, so was there any contact? I can't see Luke anyway. He's still going. So now Gregor's made a mistake, and that's coming through the final sector. This is Page's moment. And he just hits that. Oh, no, sorry, that is Gregor on his own. Yeah, he's hit the bump and into the wall. So with hot tyres as it is as well, he's hit that bump, and we saw Sebastian Job end up off a little moment to go onto the grass. Nothing as big as that from Gregor Schill then. So at the minute, all still well and good. We're on lap 4 of 17. Dara McCormack starting to gain on Sebastian Job a little bit. And with them tyres getting hotter and hotter, it is all about survival. Look at how committed Dara is to trying to get past that Red Bull Esports driver. Now into the bank corner they come. Sebastian just pulling away a little bit. And this is where the tyres are going to be absolutely screaming at you. Down the start line to start lap 5. Dennis Schoedinger has got a huge gap and sets another fastest lap of the race. So he is driving fantastically. Watch the bump. What bump, says Dara? There wasn't one. Absolutely found the line through that first section of the circuit. The Williams Esports driver versus the Red Bull Esports driver. And this a battle for second and third. Dara, who at the minute has taken first place and third place, or what, second place want the race win. Great drone shots again through Ascari. Cormac just getting closer to Job. And he'll be able to monitor him here. Only lap 5 of 17, so we'll be able to monitor where Sebastian is stronger and weaker than Dara. Whereas Sebastian won't have as clear a view of that. He will be able to kind of tell where he's stronger. But Dara will know by the basis of catching him or being put, or being left by Sebastian. So the Irish driver doing the business at the moment in terms of trying to hunt down the Red Bull Esports driver. Once again, though, it's a bit of a bump that time. That just lifted the front of the car up. And it is all about keeping these tyres in check. Here's Gregor Schill down in 6th place. And he's currently off the pace at the moment. He had that mistake. He's got to let his tyres come back to him. You're seeing shots of Dara McCormack then on the back of Sebastian Job. We're on lap 6 of 17, so near enough half distance in this race. The lockup is not going to help them tyres at all. Dennis out front, 4.7 seconds in the lead. He is flying around Ascari. Just hearing Sebastian Job there, just having them little lifts, having a bit good throttle control. Bit of a wiggle there though. Managed to catch it. Dara looks a little closer at the moment. And they've both gained on Dennis Schoeniger then. So what has happened to the race leader? It was over 4 seconds in the lead a moment ago. It's now 3 for the lead on lap 6 of 17. What has happened to Dennis? He could have threw away a race win here. Now all of a sudden, you're looking at Dara McCormack on the back of his 2 closest rivals and can maybe sniff an opportunity of a race win. Sebastian Job can also get the sense of a race win here as well. Through the complex once again, nobody bouncing off the little bump mid-corner. So it's Dennis Schoeniger from Sebastian Job. Dara McCormack has actually lost a bit of pace. He's been off the track. So he has lost some pace and has lost a lot of momentum. He's now got to work on that to get that back. It's now a 2-horse race for the lead here. Cormac is now under pressure from Luke Whitehead. Will not want to lose that podium. Bouncing through the first couple of corners is Sebastian Job. As Dennis looks to extend that gap, he's had the fastest lap, he looks to extend it once again and build what he had before. But these tyres, it's all about survival. These tyres are going to be screaming at them. And this is where the drivers are going to need to make sure they're fully aware of all that they have to do. There's Dennis Schoeniger, P1, Sebastian Job, P2. Fighting in this championship. Dara McCormack has got Luke Whitehead on the back of him. Hard on the brakes is Dennis. There he is in his simulator. I'm sure if we could see that front camera, he'd be as fully focused as anybody. Dennis from Sebastian. This is the battle for the race lead. Luke Whitehead looks like he's getting a little closer on the timing screens to that of Dara McCormack. This is P1 and 2, but as we've seen, every driver at the moment has made a mistake, bar Sebastian Job. Not seen him make a mistake at the moment. Here is Luke Whitehead on the back of Dara McCormack. For Luke Whitehead, he's on 11 points. So would need a good result here. And who's that around? That's Sebastian Job, just as we've said. He's the only one who's not made a mistake. He's around. The curse of the commentator strikes again. And that is Luke Whitehead's now span. So is this driver just overdoing the tyres? That is unbelievable. So Dennis Schoeniger has got that lead back and some from earlier. Now Dara McCormack can get on the back of Sebastian Job. And now Luke Whitehead is under pressure from his Veloce teammate of Marco Pajic. Well, it's all happening here at Ascari, lap 8 of 17. And we set survival Pajic just getting too much on the curb and having a bit of a moment. He had to correct it there. All of these well, anybody could win at the moment because they've all had a mistake. Nobody's changed places yet, but it is all happening. René Bootler's just lost out to Colin Spork, so has he had a problem somewhere? There is Dara. There in the background you see Luke Whitehead and Pajic. There is Sebastian Job just ahead of him. So one more mistake, and you have to feel that Dara could be in this position of P2. This man, of P2, apologies. But one mistake from him allows these two to get onto the back of him. The Veloce team. Who's that? Is that Job who's had another moment? It is. And McCormack catches him, tries to go around the outside of the banked corner. Will now have the outside for as it tightens up. They're still together down the hill. Dora McCormack up into P2. So Sebastian Job, has he overdone the tyres? As Dennis starts lap 9, it is a Williams Esports 1-2 at the moment, and it's Dora McCormack who moves into second place. And Sebastian Job, well, he'll want to stay ahead of Pajic, who is behind Luke Whitehead, who are the two cars not a million miles away. There they are in the background, look. So another big one for Sebastian. Could put Pajic in a position of maybe getting into that top 3. What a race this is turning out to be here at the Escari circuit then. The final one of the day. It is lap 9 of 17. And it is about, at the moment, you get that feel that it's about who makes the least mistakes. Look at them tyres on Sebastian's car. They are screaming to be cooled down. They cannot take much more of this. And they are taking an absolute battering at the moment. That could be the biggest problem. So it is all about that tyre management. Dennis Schoeniger from Dara McCormack. Sebastian Job, P3. Luke Whitehead, P4. There is Dennis's tyres. Look, his front left, absolutely fine. The other 3, yeah, not so much. They could do with a wet race around here. That's for sure. Here is your race leader coming down to start lap 10 of 17. He has a 19-second lead over that of Dara McCormack in P2. Sebastian Job, 4.6 clear of Luke Whitehead, who's a couple of seconds clear of Marco Pajic. You do feel another mistake for Sebastian. Pajic, you know, if he gets close enough, could be, and that's not going to help Sebastian, locking up the tyres. Problem is, they're going to want to give absolutely everything. Sebastian knows he needs to keep this pace up to get onto that podium, to get onto that top 3. And be within that chance of winning the trip to Ascari. He's gone deep, though. McCormack there had a bit of a slide through the corner as well, so the drivers are just starting to struggle here. All of a sudden, Whitehead is within a chance. There you see Sebastian Job. Lock up now for McCormack just in front. The only person who can really watch his tyres is the race leader. He's 19 seconds out clear. Here is René Butler then. And again, fantastic livery on the overtake car. Love the colours. All the cars have looked amazing today. Every car has looked amazing. The orange and turquoisey colour on that car, beautiful. René Butler down in P8 at the minute. Currently chasing down Colin Spork for P7. So as it stands at the moment, Dennis Schoeninger and Brian McCormack would Dara McCormack would have 37 points to their names, the same results they'd have had today. And Sebastian Job, with that extra 10 points, will be on, I believe, 33, was it 32? As it stands at the moment, but this race is far from over. Colin Sport bouncing through the left, right, left section of the circuit, dropping downhill, now climbing back uphill again. And you're just chopping out the wheel every time you come to a section of corners. So the top three in this race will be the top three as it stands. Going to Ascari next week on the 26th of April. What a race this has been for Dennis Schoeninger at the moment. He has been caught a little bit, so is that a bit of tyre management from him just happening? Just watching them tyres go through the system. Lap 11 of 17. Here is Gregor Schill. Again, to be fair, you know what? The zebra on the side of that car in the light blue, fantastic. Look at that, beautiful. For Gregor. Running in a lonely P5, only a couple of seconds off the back of Luke Whitehead. 29 seconds off the back of... No, 29 seconds... 11 seconds off the back of Pajic and 32 seconds clear of Colin Sport. We got there in the end. Gregor kind of in no man's land, but a couple of mistakes from drivers on these last couple of laps. He could be right in the thick of things. And it's all about his track time. Fastest lap, Dara McCormack. Closed that gap a bit to the race leader and extended his gap over Sebastian Job. Not that I think his gap is going to close dramatically to Dennis Schoeninger. Dara McCormack is your race leader. Is your fastest lap, sorry. Just looking at Sebastian Job. Is he just maybe managing them? Nope. Still having a bit of moment and trouble. Bit of understeer you saw there. I just feel that the tyres may have died on Sebastian's car. That's why he's lost all pace. Whitehead behind has pulled a couple of tenths back on him. So that gap's got a little closer without really, taking a big dent out of it. We're on lap 12 of 17. There is Whitehead. Pajic has dropped off the back, so I wonder if he's had a problem somewhere as well. He was with Whitehead, he's no longer now. And here is René Butler then. P8. Oh, bit of a lock-up. Dennis Schoeninger takes the fastest lap back off of Dara McCormack. He wants that fastest lap back, so he's let his tyres breathe for a little bit and he's gone full attack once again. Here is Luke Whitehead. Maybe a chance of a podium if a mistake happens for second or third. Oh, there is the mistake! That is Sebastian Job who's around into the wall and Luke Whitehead onto the podium. Now, huge for Pajic. If Pajic can get on the back of Job in the later stages of this race. He's nowhere near, though, at the moment. 7 seconds back. That could have had huge changes to the championship standings. Now here's Luke Whitehead. He's now made a mistake locking up. Some mistakes happening and creeping in for the drivers once again. So Luke Whitehead moving up to P3 onto the podium. He's only on 11 points. So I don't know if it'd be enough to take the top, the ticket to Escari, but what's happened to Colin Spork? He's ended up a lap down over René Butler, so hopefully that's not a retirement there. Luke Whitehead on the podium at the moment. He has returned to the pits, so Colin Spork retirement in the race. That is a shame for Colin. That'll be 8th place for him once again. 3 points in the day. He's back out on track, but he's 1 lap down on the rest of the field. It will be P8 for him, what a shame. Pajic now just over 8 seconds, so he's not got the pace. Not got the pace to catch Sebastian Job, and you feel if he does and gets ahead, that could really do him the world of good in terms of getting that ticket to Ascari. Coming around to start lap 14 for himself. We're on lap 14 of 17 as the day comes to an end then. It's been a great day of racing here at Racing Unleashed. If you have enjoyed what you've seen, make sure you tune in tomorrow for the iRacing event, GT4s around Watkins Glen. And we'll be back as well in May for the final spring event. Not a road to Escari, but a spring event for the Challenge League and Race League drivers, I do believe, in that one. That'll be announced on our social media platforms, so make sure you follow them for all information. And as well for classified race results at the end of this one, but I don't see many changes happening to this race result. I see it pretty standard here. Whitehead has got a good gap over Job. That's the main thing for this podium. 4th P3. Here is Dara McCormack, P2. Some 16 seconds off the back of his Williams Esports teammate, Dennis Schoeninger then. What a drive by Dennis in this race. Took the lead, didn't look back. And it's just controlled. He had one mistake early on, but put that to bed and has just been in control of this race like we saw Dara in race 1. Comes across to start lap 15. Does Dara. 3 laps to go in this. There is Dennis in full control. So we believe that Dennis and Dara will both be tied on 34. Nope. Okay, so Dennis 42 P1, 34 for Dara in P2. Is that... and 33 for Sebastian Job. I'm not sure that math is correct. So from what I've got, Dennis and Dara would have had the same results. So again, we'll double check that one for you. Here is Sebastian Job trying to get onto the podium once again. Currently now will only score 8 points in this race. 15 for a win, 12 for second, 10 for third. Dennis Schoeninger from Dara McCormack, Luke Whitehead, Sebastian Job, Marco Pajic, Gregor Schill, René Butler, and then Colin Spork. Down the order. Sebastian Job will not want another mistake here. He's had that gap pulled down to him by Pajic, but 2 laps to go, or 1 and a bit laps to go. Should have that one in the bag, provided there's no more mistakes. We've said that a couple of times today. It has all just calmed down at these latter stages of the race. So they cross the line. Does Sebastian Job to start lap 16, so he's got 2 laps left. Here is Luke Whitehead, currently in P3. He's drove a good race, best one of the day so far for Luke. It'd be great to see Luke on the podium in this race. Dennis has had immense pace around here, though. He's been absolutely flying around here. A little wide on the curb there for Luke Whitehead. These F3s a little more simpler to drive, but they've made a lot of more mistakes, but the track very bumpy. You're seeing them bumps mid-corner that is catching a lot of these drivers out. as Dennis has a 20-second lead over his teammate in the Williams Esports racing team. They're coming to the back end of this lap. Is that Dara who's made a mistake just in front? Believe it is, yes. So Luke Whitehead could be standing at a P2. Dara needs to not make another mistake. We're on the final lap, so Dennis has started that. But all of a sudden, with a lap to go, Dara just making one mistake before the banked corner has potentially cost him a second place chance if he makes one more. They come around now to start their final lap. Dennis is 1 minute 20 odd, I'd imagine by now, away from winning this race, taking his first win of the day and taking that golden ticket to Ascari. Luke Whitehead all of a sudden smells blood and looks for P2. I believe if he gets P2, it's not going to put him on. Yeah, only 23 points, so not enough. Whitehead then putting some pressure on the back of Dara McCormack, but you don't. What you can't do is put too much pressure on, because that dirty air is going to overheat your tyres a little bit more. It's going to cause you to have a few more slides behind the other car. And as we know, you do not want to be slipping and sliding around this Ascari circuit. It is hot, and it will cause moments. Sebastian Jobe has dropped right off the back of Luke Whitehead as well. He's actually close to pay it, so if he has another moment, that could spell the end of Sebastian Jobe in this race in terms of a top four. But this man, Dennis Schoeninger, is going to round the final corner and he's going to take the race win here at Ascari. It is a race win for Dennis and 15 points to his name. Second place yet to be decided. It is either Dara McCormack or that of Luke Whitehead, who's really closed up in these final moments, but I think it's too little, too late. It looks like it is going to be Dara McCormack to take that P2. And then Luke Whitehead for P3. Great result for Luke in the end. Sebastian Jobe will take P4. P5 will go the way of Pejic. Gregor Schill will take P6. P7 goes the way of René Boutler, but caught close at the end by Colin Spork. Colin Spork, though, a lap down, let's not forget. So they are 7th and 8th. They still have to finish the end of their race here. They're coming up towards the banked corner now, so a bit of a show for us here at the very end. Colin Spork, sadly, a lap down, not fighting here at the end of this race. Could have been, oh, big moment in the wall. Got the snap under braking. And the standings, we're being told, is final, so it will be Dennis Schoeninger, Dara McCormack and Sebastian Jobe, who will go to Ascari, is what we're being told in our ears. We'll get a final classification for you on screen. There it is, 37 points for Dara McCormack and Dennis Schoeninger. Sebastian Jobe, 31. Pejic down in 4th on 24 points. 21 for Luke Whitehead in 5th. 6th place, Colin Spork on 14, tied with Gregor Schill on 14 and René Boutler on 11. So congratulations to Dara McCormack, Dennis Schoeninger and Sebastian Jobe. They will be the 3 drivers going to Ascari on the 26th of April for that track day experience. They'll be able to meet up with the 3 Racing Unleashed drivers there as well. And that is absolutely fantastic. What a day of racing it has been. And that was great to see. The top 3 there. What a race, what an interesting race that last one was. It was thrills and spills throughout that entire race of Ascari. It was absolutely brilliant. But what a day it's been. Red Bull Ring kicked it off before Silverstone a little later after. And then we ended it at Ascari. It has been absolutely fantastic. Here are some clips of René Boutler then at the Red Bull Ring earlier on in the day. And we can now pass back to Izzy in the Zurich Airport Lounge as the drivers are ready to be interviewed. Izzy, take it away.
Hello everyone, I am with our race winner, Dennis Scherninger. Dennis, you had a third, you had a second, and you just had to go one better and get the win. And you crossed the line with like a 30-second lead, I think. I mean, congratulations, that was amazing.
Thank you very much. I mean, the track was very hard, as you see. Seb, I think, spun behind me. I think Tara did a mistake. I did a mistake. I spun as well. The track is not forgiving at all, but it was great racing. It was great fun.
And you have finished level on points with your teammate, who we're gonna bring in a second. Couldn't have really gone any better for the Williams boys, could it?
No, not at all. Tara did a fantastic job. Unbelievable teammate, and I'm very happy to be here with him, and it was a very great experience.
Come on, Tara, we'll bring you in as well. Come on, we might as well have both of you. Congratulations, you are also going to Ascari. I mean, absolutely fantastic job from both of you today. Just talk us through the emotions right now.
Pretty speechless, to be honest. I mean, 1-2 level on points, it's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Yeah, thanks to Dennis for being an amazing teammate. I mean, I'm not sure what else to say, and thank you to Racing Unleashed for the opportunity to do this.
And it looked like a really, really tricky race out there. I mean, we did see you have a bit of a moment. Was your heart in your mouth a little bit?
Yeah, just a bit. The first moment was really bad. I thought it was pretty much gone. I got back on the track and it just spun straight away when I touched the throttle. So I was like, okay, maybe this race is over for me. But I was okay. I came out in P3 just about, and then crashed near the end again. And it's just, yeah. In the F3 car, it's really, really tough because you cook the tires easily. So yeah, I mean, just to finish in P3, I'm happy.
Well, congratulations, both of you. We'll let you go celebrate with your manager. And I believe if he is available, I'm just going to give him a wave. Sebastian, if we're just going to bring you in, because our final winner of the Escari track day is Sebastian Joe. We're just waiting for him to come in. Sebastian, it has been a bit of a crazy day for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, just a bit. I'm a bit relieved to be top 3 after a bit of a disaster there at the end. Just didn't feel very comfortable at all. I spent most of my practice on the first 2 tracks. I did a bit on the third one, but clearly not enough. It was the hardest combo. So yeah, not ideal, but it was nice to win race 2 and kind of show the pace that I did have in race 1 that I couldn't show after being hit off. So yeah, nice recovery. I'm glad I got top 3.
I think you owe your manager a little bit of an apology because she looked like she was going to cry in the final race. I mean, just seeing those final laps, were you like, yeah, heart in your mouth, just a little bit of pressure going into those final laps?
To be honest, I was trying to be careful. I was pretty chilled out, but apparently chilled out is not the way to drive on this track because the less I pushed, the more I made mistakes. So yeah, very tricky. Didn't feel comfortable at all. So I'm glad I got the points in the first 2 races because that was a disaster at the end.
But you have done it, and you are the final one going to the Ascari track day. So how much does that mean to you?
Yep, looking forward to it. It's been a while since I've been driving around the track. So yeah, I'm buzzing and very keen to get going.
Well, congratulations. We'll let you go off and celebrate with your manager, who you need to buy her a drink or something because that was not fair. Okay, we are going to pass back to see the clip of that track day that they have just won.
And what a day that will be next week, the 26th of April, for all 6 of our drivers who have won their track day place at the road to Escari. You saw there the beautiful cars, the Pagani and the Ferrari Challenge car in its fantastic Racing Unleashed livery. But that is all we have in store for you today. Thank you very much to all of the esports teams and drivers who came out to compete this afternoon, as well as thank you to Izzy Browning for being there in the Zurich Lounge, doing the interviews and some chats with our guests, as well as myself. But we'll be back tomorrow for Racing Unleashed. It is the iRacing action on the circuit, and we'll be back in a month's time for the Spring Event 3, not the road to Ascari, a different prize in store, which we'll tell you about later on in the month as we roll into May. But from all of us here in the studio and in the United Kingdom, we're going to pass back over to Izzy for final words in Racing Unleashed. But we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Racing Lounge for the final time today. I'm a bit sad that the event's over so quickly. It has been an absolutely incredible day. We've had an amazing atmosphere and I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to each of our drivers. A very, very big thank you for our drivers for making the journey over here and giving us such an amazing competition today. Also, a massive thank you to all of our visitors. We had so many people come to the lounge and the atmosphere was just absolutely incredible to be a part of. As I said, I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Finally, a thank you to our sponsors who you would have seen throughout the video, and of course for Racing Unleashed for putting on today's event. All that's left to say is thank you, have a good evening, and enjoy these highlights clips coming up next.